had a couple of the paramedic students who were using the lab next door happened to be out here while we were messing around with it, and it's an ambulance simulation, so they came in and actually tried it out.
Oh.
We take a simulation course where we learn how to drive the ambulance in like sort of like a video game type thing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And they had a whole like seat they would put here before, and I forget what it's called, but we actually have to get certified, and it's really fantastic. Obviously not as good as real life, but it's a good.
Better than crashing in real life.
Exactly, yeah, it's close enough.
Oh, do I have to? I can leave that up, right?
Yeah, I think we just minimize that.
I'm not actually going to do. I think our friend Immersion Studio doesn't have this one. Where did it start?
You guys go ahead. Okay.
There we go. Oh, that's weird. It's spun around.
So cool, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, it for some reason though, it's
Flips.
yeah, it's transposed.
So yeah, maybe in the future, if you might have something oriented to this area here, or some scenarios where you want to.
Yeah. Sorry, of course, just because we're getting ready to go, it's being finicky right now.
That's okay.
But the way that would work basically is that there's someone who's been injured, and then you can ask them questions, and then there's a quiz afterwards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Augmented reality stuff.
Hi, come on in.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
My
So-
friend here is interested in fire.
Oh, no problem. So our friend the immersive viewer is of course being finicky because that's always what happens with the new technology on the when we're starting up. All right, so you know what I'm going to do? So, yeah, sorry. What would be happening is you'd see a simulation of an ambulance call, basically, but she's crashed. We pop back later, we'll have it working. All right.
Perfect.
All right. So now, will you actually work? Yeah, it's not working at all. No. So, this is all of these. Yes, that works. Okay, good. Okay, so.
It's just not loading.
Yeah. Where do you set the username and password on the HoloLens? Because I was just going to set this one up to stream to that, and then so you need to log in,
And it didn't give you anything to do with it?
Yeah, I think you can do it through.
you do it. The instructions look like you basically go into the
pass somehow into that office. There's no muffins and bagels there, Jason.
Oh, thanks.
Eat away, please. I don't want them.
I think it sounds good.
Awesome, all right. And this is now working.
So someone shows up.
So that's just the whole that's out. Yep. Yep, so that actually looks good here. It's all set up that way, just to log in.
just a nice look to have, like bedside stuff. There's a bathroom in the back as well. Actually, yeah, along with the little kitchen area. Once you get it up,
Basically, one hand throws the middle one, the other hand throws it. And then if you cycle through, so right now it's a grab, so move this music only one big night on. And bring stuff together, so if you want to do that whole through it, erase the direction of the finish short of the line. And then draw a whole bunch of freehand straight lines. You might have had it still. Yeah, it's pretty fun. And like once you start messing with it, you make some really intricate shapes. A cool thing, there's a hollow. Hollow is one of the options for the lines. If you make hollow and you just pinch and make bubbles, that looks really cool. Hey folks. Good, how are you? Want to see our immersion room? Right. So this is a sort of experimental space that we're starting to use educationally, some of the paramedics, students and stuff like that. But basically, it's an immersion room that allows us to kind of simulate experiences. So for instance, the photography students do their sort of end of year show. One of the things we can do now is we're going to have a version of it in this room. It takes a second for it to come up, but once it does, there'll be a gallery of photos from a bunch of the students. And you can, for any given picture, if you want to say, oh, who took this picture, you can touch it, and it'll pop up with them. So go ahead, touch a picture. And just your whole hand, not like just with your palm.
That's the immersion room. That's like looks like that. We can make
Also,
it.
And if you hit it again,
That's
it goes back to the picture.
That's actually really
They just
cool.
made it.
You want to try it?
And it is.
Maybe later.
Okay, sure, we'll be here. So that's one example, and then I'll just show you a quick version of a simulation. So touch the hand.
BLS Unit 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
Now you're at the scene, and it's sort of got a video game element in that you'll see that we've got sort of a health for the patient here.
Okay.
And so you get to ask him 2 questions, and then you take a quiz. Yep. And so if you're a paramedic student or a nursing student, you go, it's like, what's the best one to ask them?
Nursing officer.
Are you going into nursing?
Yeah.
Okay, so then this is, the paramedics definitely do this, I imagine over time, because this is very new.
Yeah.
The nurses would have a similar thing, but the idea would be, so ask whatever you think.
I burned myself cooking French fries, in the oil, and it just caught fire. I mean, you get 10, and then, when you move
The
it
immersion
or
room.
you touch it, I mean, God.
So this is a simulation where paramedic
Can I
students
ask
would,
another one? Or just-
I think it'll only let you ask 2, you can look at his vitals as well.
I don't know.
Sure, but you will. And then after you've done that, and we'll shut this guy up too, then there's a quiz that the students can take based on what they've asked. Now I know we had a couple of students in here when we were testing it out, and their teacher happened to be standing here, and they did get the question wrong, first-year students. And on the video we took of it, you can hear their teacher in the background going, "You guys should know the rule of nines." So I do know that this one's, I think it was 4.5. So you'll see, the patient's health is going down because I've only got a certain amount of time. So, and then, so I'm staving off. Oh, not good. I'm not doing well. Wait a minute. There we go. And then, let's see, how did I do? Oh no, I failed. Yeah, so it's just one example of a bunch of stuff. You guys want to come in? I can show you some other things too. So let's go back to the beginning. Not exactly. There is a nursing sim. We don't have it set up, but there is a nursing simulation where you're in like an ER basically, and you've got to identify problems basically. So like, something dangerous, it shouldn't be where it is, or that kind of thing. So similar sort of thing. And I would imagine like the nurses could do this one. It's obviously paramedic specific, but there would probably be pieces like that. I'll show you some other examples. Let's go ahead and start.
Want to give this a go? What's that? What is this? This is augmented reality, so you can see him over there. This thing.
It'll just take a second to load. So this is like the lobby for the whole thing, so we can go to a bunch of different places. And then you see too, we've got snow in the logo. So the 3D model walkthrough is just the video, but you saw the paramedic simulation. Did you see the art gallery, or was that before? No? Okay. So this is the photography students. It'll take a second to load again, but when it pops up, you'll see pictures that the photography students took, so it's like their gallery. And once they're up, you guys can go and touch them. And when you touch a photo, it flips over and you see the picture and the bio of the person who took it. So just an example of like an interactive display. So, go ahead.
Wow.
And if you touch again, it pops back. And it's the same for all of them. And you can do them at the same time. Like, in other words, you can also touch one. You don't have to wait while somebody else is doing it. Everybody can go and interact. And then if you want to see another set of photos, you just hit this arrow and it'll take you to the next page of 8 more students' images. And then that one works the same way. So this is kind of an experimental space for the schools. Like you were saying, as a nurse, I know we've got one simulation. The hope is over time that we kind of build new stuff out. And really the idea behind it is you do stuff in the lab, and then eventually you're on placement, and you're doing stuff in the real world, but as you can see with the paramedic simulation, in between it's like, it raises the stakes a little bit more, that kind of thing, but it's this nice intermediate space, right, where, yeah, so this is another one. Anything else you guys want to see? Okay, well thank you, take care. walk through some of the paramedic simulation. And how's it going?
Well, it's really dark in there. But they want photos.
Sure.
We got some from last time, but
The paramedic simulation's a bit lighter, and the
we saw the jungle. Remember the jungle? Yeah, it was a jungle. No, like, this is what this one.
That's just show us one.
We saw one that was medical, like something.
well, when these guys come out of here, because I think they're on a tour, I'll get them to do the.
Like a flight, like a clinical.
That's a nursing one, and then yeah, there's the.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen that one.
The paramedic one. The paramedic one's pretty cool, and actually, I don't know. This might be okay. It's a gallery of a bunch of the photography students. Richard got them to submit stuff, and so the way we set it up, also that might be kind of fun. There's snow and logo.
Fun. That's video anyway. I don't know. Yeah, we might need to shoot with phone.
Yeah, with the phone. So dark.
Yeah. And then so for any of these, the way they're set up is that basically when you touch, you see a picture and a bio
on it.
of the
Okay.
student,
That's cool.
and multiple people can do it at the same time.
Oh, neat.
And then and we've set up a navigation so that then we can just navigate to other projects.
Oh, fun.
And so this is a test where
Just set it down.
the students
BLS Unit 123, respond to
get a scenario.
13 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
So just trying to do some phone video. I don't know, even if you were just standing
Sure.
there and then
Yep.
you hold still enough, I don't know if I'll get anything.
Well, here, I'm just thinking if it's okay, just because this is kind of the main piece, or
Yeah.
am I better over there?
Yeah.
Do you want me to look
That's
busy,
not
or-
terrible because there's a little bit of light coming from that spot on you.
Okay.
So not that it's all about you, but well, it is kind of. Yeah, maybe if you're reaching for the button or something.
Yeah, and so the idea is now they can ask questions. And basically the student decides.
Keep your,
oh, yeah.
keep just with that little bit of light on you.
Oh, sure. The student decides what questions they think they should ask, and they only get 2 before they've got to take a quiz. So they've kind of got to make some choices about what makes sense in terms of the appropriate questions.
So without touching the button, could you, with some light on you, just kind of point to onset or something?
Yeah. What actually does this?
Okay. So if you were to reach, like, don't do anything, but
Yeah,
just,
but-
yeah. Okay. Not terrible, hey? Got some decent,
Yeah, a little bit.
oops. Something useful there. Kind of gives a little bit of an idea. I don't know what you're getting, you see, but I like that gallery thing. If we could do
Do
that.
you want to back to that? Yep. Sorry, I just got to grab my
Did you
keyboard.
get like a panorama?
Yeah.
Cool. Burning building.
Let's do it.
And what you'll see too is gamified. So as I'm taking my time, he's getting worse. So he's going from stable to
Right.
unstable.
Okay. This guy. Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And one of the kind of funny things, I have a buddy from high school who was like an air paramedic.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a bit of a sort of rivalry between them and the firefighters.
Sure.
So what's hilarious about this, we have actually video of a couple of paramedic students trying it out, and they got the questions wrong. So the 2 guys that tell you failed, it's a couple of firefighters. All right, so, come on, you. Of course, now that everyone's here, it's pretty finicky. Oh, there we go. So the way we set it up is we've got sort of a start lobby sort of a thing, and then from there we can navigate to a bunch of different stuff. So, oh, and check out the snow and the logo.
Yeah.
Bright enough.
So depending on what people want to see, we can just take them to whatever they want to check out, basically. This is one of my favorite parts. I love this. There's another one. Do we have the... You can make it follow you with footsteps too. Hey, folks.
It's really cool.
Come on in.
Come on in. We're all staff, so
Come on in.
Oh, look out.
get in there.
So-
Come on, it's really cool.
This is an immersion room. It allows us to do a bunch of different kind of experiences for students. So if you touch photo gallery, you'll take your whole hand, but you just like press with your palm.
It's okay. There's lots of room.
Yep. And then it'll take a sec. And
The learning's never done.
once it pops up, you'll see photos from photography students. And then for each of the photos, you can touch it, and it'll flip over and show you a picture and a bio of the person who took the photo. So it just takes a second for it to render. There you go. And you can do it all at the same time, so you don't have to wait. Each one of you can pick a picture and... Yep.
Please take the picture, Ryan.
Yeah, just pick one.
Pretty neat.
Yeah. And then, do you guys want to see like a simulation of an ambulance?
Yes.
All right.
Touch them, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Well, this is kind of cool below us.
So this is a simulation that like a paramedic student would do. So if you just hit the green button, it'll start the simulation.
BLS Unit 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
And now, yeah, hit it again. And it'll take you to the scene. And so now you're a paramedic on scene. There's a burning building, and we have someone who's injured. And so you can ask them questions, and you can look at their vital signs. So there's the burns. And then touch the green button, and it'll allow you to ask them some questions. You may have to, yeah, there you go.
Love it, Kurt. Ask him a question. You heard me?
I can't, I'm just thinking of thinking.
Good.
Wow.
That's a good one, Kurt.
And you get one more.
I only take Xanax for my anxiety.
Okay, so now hit the red X. And now on this side, if you hit the question mark, the students would now take a quiz. And so it's going to ask basically, oh, try it again.
Try again.
There we go. Oh, hang on, you got something open still? Sometimes it gets finicky if something's still open. Ah, there we go. So now the students have a 5-question quiz. And you'll notice that the patient's health, just like a video game, is going down. And if you get questions wrong, it goes down more. Now, obviously, you're not expected to know these, but these are things that the paramedic students would know. And then at the end of it, I'm going to deliberately answer wrong, just so you can see what happens. So that one's incorrect. Now it'll ask me another question. And so I failed. And the firefighters show up and tell me that I did not get it right. So what's great about this is that the students learn stuff in a lab, but the stakes are pretty low. Out in the real world, there's a real guy with burns, that's kind of high. So you can think of this as kind of an intermediate stage where there's a little more pressure, there's noise, there's fire, but nothing bad happens if you get it anyway. Yeah. Like it? Not bad. Thank you for demoing it for me. Yeah, we were talking about that in the wind, and it's basically like it's not diving, so there's no extra degree of difficulty. We are going to do that, but I was just like, let's do this one first. But I'm actually very interested to check that out. My thought was once we get real students in here, I want to give them like really loud winds. Smell of vomit, whatever, and do just all of it.
At the very least, maybe a student that can't take it in the real world might realize before they get.
Sorry, that's one of the really important pieces of it, right? Is that like, oh, okay, this isn't just theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we just realized there's like another camera in there, so that takes pictures here. So I'm just gonna.
Oh,
gonna stand
sure.
here.
Well, then let me get a good background for you.
What's that? I don't think so.
We got you. Yeah, no, hold on. He said he's gonna get a good picture.
I'm gonna pull up the sort of main lobby of it that has all the options. So there you go. So now it's all the
Oh.
Yeah, so we're live streaming this right now. So this is going out to YouTube on I think the eCreators channel.
Nice.
And then we've got it out here. And then the other thing with the HoloLens is you can tether a HoloLens by an IP address. So one of the things I'm going to experiment with later is there's another HoloLens over at Nursing. I'm going to call it up on the browser here so that the people in the immersion room can see through whatever the yeah.
I totally just had a thought for the HoloLens. I'm working on my RPass license.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would be really an interesting application to use the HoloLens to be able to have visual line of sight of your drone, but also be able to see the feed.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Well, the nice thing about it, because it's AR rather than VR.
Yeah,
you
so
can-
that's what I mean. So you can
use
still
mix, yeah.
have
Like a heads-up display sort of,
Yeah.
but you can look through it at your instrumentation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. You should mention that to Sandy. These are. No, let's get mention it too. Because it's one of the things, like, basically, our whole thing with the data institute is that eventually we want this stuff to stuff students use, but what we don't get enough of, and I'm encouraging everybody to do is just like, we talk about things like sort of play, build, and implement, however you want to think of it, is mess around, see how things work, and when you're on the prototype of it, and then the stuff that works becomes an educational resource. So what you're talking about is a good example, like, let's see what happens, right? Yeah, I guarantee they'll like that idea, because we're always looking for more project ideas. That's of course we're just someone needs to have a visual. Oh, interesting.
So you have to hire you or you have to have a designated spotter to watch where it is.
So you could combine those.
So you can combine those two, so you have your feed, your controller, but you also have to visually see where it is. Like DJI actually sells they're not like a HoloLens, they sell a FPV vision goggles.
Oh, okay.
So
And so it's basically broadcasting the feed from.
yeah, they use a protocol, they go 10K at 720p. Yeah, very cool. Some of their higher end ones will do 4K for like 12 kilometers. But I mean, if you could combine that, like they sell the FPV goggles, but if you could combine that with something where you still physically able to see the drone, that'd be amazing.
Well, the nice thing is this, because it's got a developer kit, you can add whatever functionality.
Yeah, well, into that stuff is all built in Android.
Yeah.
So like all your controlling and stuff, you have that iOS or so that means it's already
Yeah.
an SDK up there.
Because you can use some, you can do voice controls with HoloLens, and then add, like kind of janky, but it'd be kind of fun to see if you could add voice controls to the drone.
Or if you could add using the motion detection to control the game.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. Get a response to the JJ program.
Check out my stuff. Stay back, ready back.
All right.
Thank you, though.
No problem.
Thank you, no.
Get a chance to play if there's no one else around. I played with the classes. Yeah. Probably heard this deal. What do you want to play?
Oh, that's what the video over there was. Yeah, that was what the other video was. Oh. Yeah.
I already tried the Rasmussen though. But, yeah, that's, basically that. We do have our own first responders gym, which is at the Port Mountain, and only fire, police, and paramedics can use it. Really nice location.
I want forklift simulation. I'm good at that.
Oh, is this is the immersion room?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it is, definitely is. Not as cool as I thought, I must say.
Maybe it's not.
Yeah, it is. This is my house.
Oh, cool.
Want to download the immersion room?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, please.
What do you want to see? You can see more than one.
The
Forklift simulation.
So just, with your whole hand, just touch the picture.
the one that choose the paramedic one.
We'll get the paramedic one after. Hell yeah.
So now you'll notice something at one point. There's a guy here. Now watch the rearview mirror. Over here. He crosses behind you. So it's one of these things that trains people because obviously your front view's obscured.
Yeah.
The motion of this, if you get motion sick, is not ideal, but the rest of them are all like this. But it basically, it's sort of training for somebody to realize, oh right, I've got to be looking around. Is it on yet? Okay, no, we'll go
You
to
guys can go.
no, I'll show you something else. I'll show you something else.
Let's do the
It's
paramedic
not
one.
gonna be, yeah,
She likes the
maybe
nursing
interesting.
stuff.
I'll show you something that's not so motion-y.
Yeah, that was kind of getting me a little bit
I
too.
don't know what, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been in here so much I don't notice anymore, but
Burns?
yeah, that's it. So,
The immersion room itself is right here, and you can see when you come in, you're surrounded by the whole sea. When you touch the walls,
So-
things change.
Is there a scenario? So what we're looking at right now is an immersion room experience for paramedics.
13 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress.
Here, when you
Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
So now you're on the scene. You'll note that our patient's health is declining, just like the video game.
gosh.
Wow.
And so you can ask him.
Help him.
You can ask him two questions.
Oh.
You get two questions, and then there's a quiz. And you can also look at his vitals, and if you want a close look at his burns. So hit the magnifying glass first.
Sir, how'd you get weird burns like that? Where you on?
So that, and then execute. And And now if you click the vitals, you can see his vitals. Usually you have to use your volume. Oh, there you go, okay. So you can see heart rate, etc. Then you can X out of that. And then you can get 2 questions. You have 2 questions before you have to take the quiz. So hit the question button. And now you choose which of these you want to ask.
Events leading up to illness, he's like, I was fucking on fire.
I want to know.
He's like, man, that building there, that's the lead up. Like,
You have to know how this happened. Well,
that's not your question, he's on fire. No, don't do that one. He's just gonna point to the burning building.
I mean, and then, you know, when you move it or
He's pretty chill.
you touch it, I mean, God.
He was sassy.
And bear in mind, if you're an actual paramedic student, you've got some, like, don't worry about not being sure which one. You're not, that's the whole point. You're not a student yet, it's okay. Ask them what they would have some info.
yeah.
Pertinent medical.
I got anxiety. I used to smoke, but now I just vape. Oh,
Oh,
God.
that's good.
So now you can X out of the questions.
I feel like that did nothing.
And then the quiz is over here.
Why do I have to do all this?
Oh.
Oh, God.
Now, the rule of 9s, I happen to know because the first time we demoed this leading up to open house, the paramedic studio was right there. And a couple paramedic students came over and like, what's this? We're like, you're wearing the uniforms? Try it out. And when they were first doing this, they got this question wrong, and it happened that their prof had poked his head in. And you can hear in the back, I shot video, you can hear in the back of the video him going, you guys should know the rule of 9s. So the rule of 9s is something you would know. So answer, like, you obviously don't know, so just answer whatever you think.
I don't know. What's the rule 9?
So unfortunately, the patient didn't make it.
Oh, no.
Cause of death, forearm burn.
But
So cool,
the
though.
point of it basically is that, like, you've got a lab, but you know it's a lab, and then you're out in the real world, and that's pretty high stakes. We can also have wind, and we can have, like, the smell of a burning building and all kinds of stuff we can add to it and crank the volume up. So it's sort of this intermediate experience where it's a bit more stressful, but obviously our animated friend will be fine no matter what we
Yeah.
want to play.
Yeah.
Do you have police simulations or like active shooter simulations?
I don't know, because this is relatively new. I know that there's definitely like a chase scene. We don't have it set up, but because there's a library of like a couple hundred different simulations. So we're just starting to roll them out.
Sure.
Yeah, it's over time the idea is that more different programs will use it. Sure. Let's take you back to the lobby. One of the other kind of cool things, fun, and I think everybody can do this, is we'll go to the photography gallery. These are photos taken by photography students at the college. It'll take a second to pop up. And everyone can interact with it at the same time. When the gallery comes up, you can touch any given picture, and then a photo and a bio for the student who took the picture.
Oh, cool.
It basically flips over. They're pretty, they're big files, so it takes a second to pop up. So yeah, you can check them out.
Cool.
And see the logo too. We've got snow and the Lambton logo.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that earlier. So cool.
And if you hit it again, it flips back to the picture. And so the ambulance simulation you saw is made by a third party. We actually made this. So one of the nice things about the simulation software is that we can build experiences in-house. So something like this, again, you can have a quiz or do whatever you want right in the room, basically.
Cool.
That's amazing.
Very interesting.
Cool.
Cool. You can
Right on.
touch it.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming and demoing it for us.
Do you have one for nursing?
We don't have the nursing one set up. There is a nursing one that we demoed recently. So that one, it's basically a like sort of an open area like an ER,
Okay.
And so the student has to identify like safety issues. So there, I can't remember now, but there's like something sharp. And so you've got to walk in and go, oh, okay, so it's sort of a test of that. And again, it's kind of taking theory into an environment where it's wrong. No big deal. But we would certainly over time have one. So the one you saw, like the victim with the burns, there would be similar sorts of triaging things. So as I say, we're kind of just starting to roll this out. But yeah, you would see similar kinds of simulations. Yeah, for sure. Go back to our start. Thanks for coming out. Fine. Sure.
Okay.
What do you want to know? Okay, so those individual courses, it's not a vet tech program. So like, put it this way, what I would recommend if you're thinking you eventually want to do vet tech, they're perfectly good for kind of an intro to it, or like what is this exactly about, that kind of thing. But if you're thinking you eventually want to do like a full-time vet tech program, the one thing I would say is wherever you're thinking of going with that, you want to speak to them, because some of our courses may transfer, but it's not up to us if they do, it's up to them. Because we do, there are, and the other thing is, some of them are 6-week courses and non-credit, some of them are 15-week credit courses and are for credit. Those for credit ones are just like the courses that a student full-time on underground would take. So my only thing would be, if you're thinking eventually of transferring into somebody else's program, you just want to check with them.
I did this semester. Decided just to go online and then do like that reception for assistant. So I know it's kind of like next on my computer. But I was wondering if I were to take those courses, would that get me like a certificate or something that I can?
No, so that's the thing about ours is because they're just the individual ones, they don't come together into a credential, which is why you're exactly on the right track. Depending on who it is that you're working for, they might say, that's fine, we just want to know the content, or others may say, well, no, we need a certificate. So you would want to check with them because ours don't. Now, what I would recommend is, I don't know what else is online. The way that online works, all colleges in the province are kind of cool online courses. So when you see an online vet course with us, we don't deliver it, it's actually one of our partners that does. So what I would say is if you go on OntarioLearn.ca, if there are full vet, receptionist, tech, whatever programs available online, they'll be listed there if you just search the programs. And honestly, what I'd recommend, once you let us see taken to us, if there's a full program that leads to where you want to go, you're probably better to just register through them, because it's online, it doesn't matter where you are. Sure, absolutely. And the other thing too is if you want, you can just email online@lambtoncollege.ca with any questions you've got, and we can answer that and send you links and all that stuff. It's our immersion room. So basically it's an immersive space where we can, we've got a few different things, but particularly there's like simulations.
So there's some kind of model of a house, architecture model?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you, like, do you have to put a HoloLens or something?
So what you'll see, this is just a video, but what you're seeing is someone walking through a Revit model with a HoloLens. So when it pops up first, you'll see it desk sized. And so that's what it looks like, and then, I don't know, about a minute in, it jumps to, we expanded this, we're in the, it's not easy to tell, but we're in the old gym. And so we took this and brought it up to full size, and then Sandy, our director, so here, yeah, we'll pop that up in a sec. This is the full size model, and now he's walking through it. in the HoloLens. And so yeah, it allows you to walk through fully immersive.
So what about all these other screens?
So we've got an art gallery. It takes a second to load.
So does it work in all these screens?
These three will be the art gallery. So what you'll see when it pops up, they're photographs taken by students, and for each one, when you touch it, it'll flip over and you can see a picture and a demo, a bio of the student.
So you have to click it.
Yeah, just touch it with your hand.
Oh, that's nice. So if you touch it again, the picture.
How are you?
Come on in.
I've not been to our immersion room.
Yeah, well, this is sort of our first real proper demo of it. So these are photos from Richard's photography students.
Cool.
And we're actually looking at, with him, hopefully doing something even a little bit more immersive where it's just their stuff. Because we can change the color of the lights, we can have wind and smells and sounds and all kinds of stuff. And
We can have wind and smells too.
Yeah, so those three
Too much.
canisters you see up there. So actually, I'll take you to the paramedic sim.
This is almost like a Disney kind of thing.
That's too much. If you
Yeah.
can put a smell in.
4D experience.
Yeah, well, you could, because if the student wanted, so I think what we're probably going to do is have a separate page for each student,
Yeah.
and then the student could decide that when their page comes up, maybe there's a piece of music they want, or you could even do, because these are basically buttons, that's all they are,
Okay.
which is why it flips and does all that stuff, so you can have a button do whatever you want, so you can even have something where, like, you know, clicking one image starts a cascade of different behaviors.
Nice.
You're not just limited to one. And I'll show you like a more educational example.
It's really good.
How does it tell?
Is the smell thing
sensors
work?
in the wall, and how do we?
No, so what it does, you see that there's little cameras?
Yeah.
What happens is that in the software, basically, this is mapped as a button.
Okay.
And so the camera knows that if I,
Come near that.
because that actually, I didn't quite touch the wall, so it's not actually touch sensitive, but it knows, oh, okay,
Just
you
by some
know
movement. Okay.
that you've interacted with a button.
Wow.
So that's why you can, so over here I've got the navigation for the whole demo.
Yeah.
So you want to see the paramedics. This will now open up the paramedic demo and really,
Wow.
that's, so here, check it out. So you have to touch with your whole hand, yep.
Yeah.
Alice Unit 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Occupier in
It's like
progress.
saying GTA.
Fire advises one fire victim who is
Here we
now
go.
located at
So you'll notice
Oh my.
we've got fire and we've got the patient's sort of stability going down. So here's your
Some kind of
patient.
game award. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
And I'll tell you ahead of time, this is questions, you get 2 before you have to take the quiz.
Okay.
So you can see his burn, so if you hit the, that, you get a close-up of what the burns look like.
Second degree.
And then, yeah, you can exit out of that, and then you can take,
Don't test me.
you can take a peek at his vitals.
Okay.
And then you can exit out of that. And now you can ask him 2 questions. So you decide what you want to, so basically, part of the test is that the student, because time is of the
Oh,
essence,
what's the?
and he gets a little sort of displeased.
I burned myself cooking French fries. You know, the oil, and it just caught fire.
Okay, so now we know what type of burn it is.
Really amazing work. But what if we turn these lights off? It will look better, right?
The,
Pulled me out, I don't know, it's been like 10 minutes.
Okay.
so now X out of there. And now you hit the quiz
Oh
button.
no! What is it roll dimes? What is the total percentage for? Oh. Jesus,
Making learning fun.
Yeah,
well, how much he's got there? I don't know, maybe.
I can call it up again.
Of his whole body?
I'm guessing now. Oh! Oh my god, I was gonna pick part of my life!
Amazing.
So unfortunately,
You got it as. Oh god, the paramedic. I'm pretty sure I'm the paramedic.
well, that's actually, I have a buddy who was a helicopter paramedic, like guy in high school, and he always said that there's a bit of a rivalry there. So I love
it. That's so funny. Oh my god, it'd be like.
the last thing. We actually, it's funny when we were setting up the demo, we had because the paramedic labs there, we had a couple paramedic students who were like, "Hey, we come in and check it out," and they got the rule of nines question wrong, and their faculty member had come out to find them. He's like, "Where are they?" So we wandered in. Just as they do that, and so you can, like, shot video, you can hear them back. You guys should know the rule of nines.
I love this. This is
It's
awesome.
great. Well, the way I tell everybody to think about it, it's like a context generator, right? You've got what you know is low stakes. You've got very high stakes out in the real world. This gives us an ability to kind of raise the stress level a little, but it's kind of an intermediate experience. Pretty cool, right? Hey, folks, come on in.
Yeah.
Here, let me just reset. You had a question? That's fine. I got to set up for these folks so I can answer your question while I'm going through this. I can multitask. It'll tell you if there's a prerequisite when you go on the individual course page. If there's a pre or co-requisite, it says it very clearly, and it won't let you register. Yeah. Let me just get these guys going. So, this is our immersion room. As you probably saw as you were walking in, it allows us to do simulations of certain kinds of experiences, but we can do other stuff too. So we have a photography program, and this will take a second to cycle up. But what's nice is the software allows us to actually build experiences in-house. So what you're seeing here isn't like a purchase, the paramedic one is a purchase simulation. What you're seeing now is just something we built in-house using photographs from the photography students. And so once they pop up, you can go and touch them. When you touch a picture, it'll show you a photo and a bio of the person who took the picture. And you can do it multiple people at the same time. You don't have to go one at a time. And so what the room allows us to do, this is still relatively new, but it also has, if you look over here, you see there's a fan and there are these white sort of canisters. These are scent generators, and then we've got the fan so that also with, with a simulation, like we could have had smoke, smell and stuff like that, but also with this, if a student, say, wants to do something a bit more immersive, they could have a breeze, they could have music, they could have the smell of pine trees, whatever. There's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. It's a really powerful space, for being able to kind of create situations where it's a little higher stakes than the lab, but it's not the real world yet. It's kind of a nice intermediate space. Any questions about it? All right. Well, cool. Yeah. And if you want to check out, we've also got AR HoloLens technology on the side that allows you to basically project over the real world. So if you go out there, you see the folks with the headset on, the one TV is showing you what they're seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Come on in.
No way you didn't just do that. That's wicked.
Yeah, so the way that this is set up, you'll see that each of the projectors has a little like GoPro looking camera on it.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that these pictures are actually buttons.
Yeah.
And so it knows, and you'll notice I can put my hand in front of it, it's fine, but if I actually touch, it knows that, oh, okay, you've touched that button. Anything in particular you want to see? There's a paramedic simulation. The forklift one, I will say the forklift one, if you get motion sickness, is not your ideal choice. Or we have like some virtual tours of some different spots on campus, or whatever you want to see.
see the paramedic one? I'm doing nursing, so why not?
All right. So just touch with your whole hand.
Oh my god, this is amazing. I feel like Iron Man. It's with Jarvis.
So you touch the green button to start the whole hand. Yep.
Leo Student 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
So now you're in the simulation.
Oh my God.
You'll notice that your patient's stability is going down, right? It's like their health up there.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So here's your patient.
Oh.
And so I'll let you know ahead of time. You can look at their burns more closely. You can look at their vitals, and you can ask them 2 questions. There's like 10 choices. You can ask 2, and once that's done, there's a quiz on the other side. So you can interact with him for a minute.
Try. Ooh. Those look like okay. Hey, you want to ask them a question?
So it's asynchronous, which means there's no specific time that you have to be logged in. There's weekly modules, so that'll be videos or articles or whatever the content is that we work through at your own pace. But then there's deadlines for assignments to be handed in.
I got anxiety. I used to smoke, but now I just vape.
You've got to be there at the same time.
That's really good.
That's terrible. Last
It's perfect for that. Put it this way.
No allergies.
If it's a 3-credit course, and so the last digit of the course is 3. Assume that it'll take you about 6
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But when those 6 hours are, totally up to you. And maybe a little more toward the end.
I don't know what to do.
So, did we ask 2 questions?
We did.
Okay, so you can X out of there. And now, you hit the question mark.
Go ahead. Make her do the work for me. Oh.
Now, if you were a paramedic student, this is something you would have been taught.
Okay.
So, but just to see what happens, answer whatever you think.
Guess 4.5.
That's a pretty good questioning, right? So when there's so much training, they can just go right.
Just for fun. Let's see what we got. Yep.
Oh, there we go.
And one of the things that like isn't immediately obvious, but because there's the 10 questions, most of them are questions you shouldn't have to ask. And so part of this is that they're really testing the student, because you'll notice, right, our patient's becoming unstable, time is short.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
So if you say, like, what happened, he's going to say, I burned my arms. Like, why are you wasting time asking me that, right? So the idea is that they really learn the process of narrowing down to the most important questions.
Wow.
And then these, if you tap it, it'll switch.
So this is through like the nursing program, or is this just a question?
So this is so the immersion space can run all sorts of different simulations.
Right.
There's a library of hundreds of them, so this is just one that we've got. There's a nursing one, for instance, where they're in a kind of, so when they're the way you want them, then click
Oh,
check
no,
in.
okay, I want this.
So you gotta click in.
Click?
So there's like an ER kind of space where the students got to go through
Check.
and identify hazards. So it'd be similar to this, right? But instead it's like, where are the hazards in the room, and they've got to do that. And more over time, this is very new. This is the first time we've demoed it at Open House.
This would be great. I would see this as a public thing.
Isn't that? Sorry, I'm just gonna.
Are we wrong? Probably wrong.
No, sometimes.
Nope, we're wrong. Oh, so it wants to
So. And I happen to have a buddy who was like a sort of helicopter paramedic guy I knew in high school.
Yeah.
And he said that there's always sort of a bit of a rivalry between the firefighters and the paramedics. So I find this hilarious that they've chosen the firefighters to tell the paramedic that they did the simulation. That was very funny.
We got this, yeah.
Yeah, the idea basically is that you've got the lab, and when you're in a lab, you know you're in a lab, you're out in the real world, the stakes are very high. This is like an intermediate, I call it a context generator. It's basically like, let's take what you've learned and put it in a space where we can raise the stress level a little bit, but obviously our...
Because you could even take, say, hypothetically, real life situations if it had a camera, and then, hey, this applies, and then put
So,
it
it's sort of interrupted. If you look right there...
Oh, you're just there.
Okay, well, you can film with those. So we could walk through a space and basically film something. So like maybe, you know, firefighting students who aren't yet ready to go into a situation, we can film exactly as you're saying, and then you put them in that situation.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, more to come. We're just starting to roll it out.
It's not my fault I failed.
Well, really, we're the Innovation Institute, so our part of the college is our job is really just to kind of break stuff and then like figure out how things work, and then as it rolls out, you know, like, because faculty don't have time to figure out how this works or whatever, so our job is to kind of like just play around, as I say, and then once we're at this point, we say, hey, here's the thing, right?
I think it's very good. I think it's really cool.
It's fun stuff. I'm really excited about it. It's very cool.
The potential is just massive more than that. It's endless.
Yeah, it really is. It's sort of it's kind of imagination, right? If you can think of something, we can build a decent version of it.
It's just like Jarvis. Love it.
That's great.
So you got to do one on marriage. Get married. Questions not to ask. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
I'm on my 10th year with that.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
It's not.
Thanks for checking it out, guys.
Thank you.
I like it.
It's fun. It's a fun place. Very cool. Other questions?
I don't think so. I just want to say thank you for answering all my questions.
Oh, you're welcome. That's what we're here for. And I know for me, always drive home and remember something you should have asked.
Yeah.
So just online at lambtoncollege.ca, or if you go to just lambtoncollege.ca/online, that'll take you to our page. Our contact info is there, so if you need anything else, just ping us. We're happy to help.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Take care. It's good. It's been nice. I was expecting bigger groups, so given that they're smaller, I've actually been able to kind of chat to people a little more, which is good. So it's hi, how you doing? Good.
We're still lost.
What can I help you find? Sure. So,
Moving around and around and around.
and actually, when you get there, you'll see that they've also got one of these guys. So you can see an anatomy demonstration. You see that where it says D?
Yeah.
Just take a left and you'll see a bunch of booths down there. All the health sciences folks are there.
Perfect.
You're welcome. So this is a space that basically allows us to do sort of simulation experiences and things like that. What program are you looking at?
Social service work.
Social service work. I don't have one specifically for that. Hey, it's Bounce. How you doing? There's a live stream, so definitely come and wave to the folks at home. So actually, I'm curious to see if this will work. Pounce, I'm going to get you to help me out here. With your paw, touch that. I want to see if it registers you. It does. Awesome. Okay, so then let go. So what you're going to see now is a photo gallery. It takes a second to render, but basically these are all photos that are taken by photography students here at the college. And we can then set up a gallery where you can see all their photos, and when you interact with them, it'll flip over and it'll show you a picture and a bio of the person who took the picture.
Wow.
So here we go. And also notice the logo. It says Snowman logo. So go check it out. And you can do it both of you at the same time, all of you. Like, you won't break anything if you're touching multiple ones. Full hand. Sorry, yeah, it's Yep. And basically what's happening is you see these little GoPros attached to the projectors. This is basically a button. That's all it is. So it knows that the edges of the button are the edges of the picture. And so when you interact, see if you...
That is cool.
And I can almost, right, you can tell the difference, but then once I actually touch. And it's all done with video. There's no sensors or anything in the wall.
That is crazy.
And the other thing the button thing allows us to do is navigation. So now, I'll show you the paramedic simulation.
BLS Unit 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress.
That's
Fire. Yep. So now, you'll notice that our patient is becoming less stable. He's over here. And I'll let you know that you have the chance to ask him 2 questions. I think there's 10, so you have to choose the right ones. And then there's a quiz you take afterwards.
Okay.
And you can check his vitals, and you can get a close-up of the burns.
So you press this.
Yep. And then you can ask any 2 of those questions. You can also see vitals, and you can see close-up of the injuries. And so part of the thing here is, because time is of the essence, the paramedic student has to decide which are the 2 most important questions, because I can't waste time asking stuff that's not the most important stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Obviously, you want to ask him the events leading up. Beforehand. It was a grease fire.
French fries.
So you know what kind of burn now, right?
Oil. And it just caught fire.
The other one probably. I want to ask him about when it happened.
The fire department got here quick. They pulled me out. I don't know. It's been like 10 minutes.
So now you can X out of there. And now you click the question mark, and there's a 5-question quiz.
Ooh. Okay. I believe it is 9%.
Alright, how do you figure that out?
Your whole arm is, it's 18 for your chest, 9. Whole arm, I guess, is 9 each. Legs are 18. It's rule 9, so each one's about 9.
Okay.
And that's 100%. So that's how you calculate it.
So they showed up. There's a patient. They've asked him, oh, he became a, because there's time.
Yeah. The answer was no to that.
And my favorite part about this is that the firefighters tell you that guys from a different department show up and say, oh, sorry, we got it from here. Yeah, and so basically the idea is that you can take kind of what you guys would see in the lab. You're learning, but it's the lab, and you know it's the lab, and out in the real world, the stakes are higher. This is kind of an intermediate experience where we can have like the smell of smoke, we can have wind, we can really crank the volume to make it a little more stressful and real as that kind of intermediate kind of an experience.
That's really cool.
Yeah. No,
Actually, we had a couple of first-year students happen to poke their head in when we were demoing this. I was like, oh, come and try it out. And they got the rule of 9's question wrong, and the faculty member, I guess he walked out of the lab, he's like, where are they? So he comes around and sees them here, and so I shot video of it, and you can, in the background, hear him going, you guys should know the rule of 9. Yeah, it's fun. So it's just kind of an opportunity. So when you see that this is like a pre-made simulation, obviously we didn't do this, but like something like a gallery, we can make those because those buttons I was talking about, you could shoot something with the HoloLens that you saw out there, right, to get kind of a view of something, and then we can overlay buttons. Basically, anything anybody can think of in terms of a simulation, we could build in here.
Wow.
It's neat. Yeah.
There's another version of this where it creates footprints as you walk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
I can try that.
Yeah. So, what do you want to see? Okay, so just go up.
Go this way.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was actually really cool. I've not seen that.
Yeah, it's yeah, but you just throw it on the chair.
Here?
Whatever works
Okay,
for you.
sure.
So, just when you're touching, touch with your whole hand.
Whole hand like this?
Yeah. And so it'll take a second to render, but once it pops up, It's going to be a gallery of photos that are taken by photography students.
That's good, yeah.
And for each one of them, when you touch it, it'll flip over and you see a picture and a biography of the student who took the picture. So it just takes a second. So you can touch any of them that you want.
Sure.
Run.
Hi.
This is a gallery. So this is our immersion room.
Yeah.
And what you see up here right now is a gallery of photos by students.
Okay.
So just for any of the photos, just go touch it with your whole hand.
Right.
And it'll flip over. And you see a picture and demo of the person who took it.
Oh, that's neat.
And then if you want to see another page of them, just hit that arrow button. It'll take a second to render, and then we'll get a selection.
Kind of like the smart boards they have in the public schools, right?
It is, and it's kind of now a 3, and even sometimes 4D. I don't have any set up this way, but you can have simulations where even the floor is interactive.
Oh, cool.
So you can even put buttons on the floor, but this will work the same way now. You can touch a picture.
Cool. It's very neat.
Yeah. And then we've got a bunch of other demos. So
Do you have a classroom demo?
No, I've got a paramedic demo.
No, she's doing the lab technology demo.
So I don't have one set up here, but one of the things you could have, I'll show you a 360. So hang on. So these are 360 recordings of classrooms.
Okay.
So we don't specifically have pharmacy. There is a pharmacy lab, but we just picked ones that aren't physically here.
Right.
So now I will say, I'll move it slowly, but if you get motion sickness,
Oh, no.
but what you'll see now is we've got the 3D lab,
Right.
and so I can move around through it, and if I want to, one of the things that we can do is we can create hotspots so that you can take, and there is one of these on the website for, I know, the pharmacy lab, but if you've got a, something that maybe like the students can't go into or can't go into right away, or you want to orient them to the space before.
Right, you're kind of teaching them where everything is.
So they can look through it, and you can fill it with hotspots and what have you, and then when they come into the space, especially if it's a space that's a little dangerous, they've already, that's a safety issue, be sure, but whatever, we can do all those things ahead of time.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah.
And
she's the chemical laboratory.
oh, chem lab, sorry, I think it's in pharmacy. No. But it would be the same thing.
Yeah, very
so
much, yeah.
What you just saw there was a 3D printing lab, but just swap it out for chem stuff.
Exactly.
And I think actually there is, we just chose, as I say, a limited number, but I think there is a chem lab 360 on the website as well.
Okay, we'll check it out. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my brother sells trailers.
Oh yeah.
And you can click and open the door and it shows you the inside of the bathroom, or you click and it shows you how the table comes up, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the idea, is being able to take people somewhere that we can't just
Right.
take them, or earlier.
Right.
Because say the paramedic simulation, if you don't know what you're doing,
Right.
well, you fail the quiz. But
Right.
like, not for grades, but I'm saying like you don't pass the quiz, but nobody dies, right?
Right.
So it allows us to kind of raise the stakes a little sooner and give
Right.
people a sense of the reality.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're immersed into it. Right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. You want to check it out? So again, this one.
I drive one all the time.
Oh, okay. So the idea here is basically to give somebody a sense, again, of what this is like before they ever get on one. So see this guy?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so watch your rearview mirror.
Watch you get back like this.
You see him cross behind. So a student who's never touched the machinery can begin to get a sense of,
The virtual, yeah.
I can't
the
see right in
blind
front of
spots.
me, where do I have to look? As it spins, it's a little disorienting. So you can take somebody through an experience, and you could shoot this using something. Did you guys see the HoloLens?
No.
Out there? Okay, so when you go out, you'll see guys wearing
Yes.
VR helmets.
Yeah. My
You can
son
just-
has that for his gaming.
So you just stick one on somebody and have them do something, and it records.
Right,
And
to
so
see,
you,
to see how well he's doing, right? It's like a pilot doing the
the simulations,
simulation.
exactly.
Yeah, my son drives a forklift.
That's cool. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, that is neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good teaching tool.
It's nice because it allows us, as I say, to kind of put somebody in experience a little sooner.
Yeah, and it's some people learn visually and some people learn other ways, right? So
Yeah,
it's
that's
nice
the other
that
nice
you
piece
have
about
that you can.
Everybody's about theory.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many different types of learners.
Yeah, exactly. And this allows us to kind of bring another layer to
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That's very cool. Thanks for showing us.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming out.
I would like to do simulation this time.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, like.
Yeah, just go right ahead.
It's good?
PO Student 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
And so the patient's health, you can see, is going down.
Okay.
And so the way it works, sorry, because were you here when I was showing the other folks? You can ask, so there's questions. You can ask 2 before you take the quiz. You can see vitals and you can see a close-up of the burns.
I don't have any idea.
Right, of course, exactly. So the idea, this is an interesting part of it, is that if you're a paramedic student, there's a bunch of these questions that are a total waste of time, and the stability's going down.
It's going down.
So they've got to quickly figure out what I have an idea now, just because of watching people know what they're doing to it. But initially,
So it is like.
yeah.
What should it like?
So events leading up to, I know, is one of them.
Burned myself cooking French fries. You know, the oil, and it just caught fire.
And so what I now know, so one of our vice presidents is a former nurse. So he was saying, oh good, now I know what kind of burn it is. So that's why they have to know to ask that question, which I wouldn't have known. And then time is another one that they identified as being important.
The fire department got here quick. They pulled me out, I don't know, it's been like 10 minutes.
And then if you wanted to, you can. Doesn't mean anything to me, but if you
Yeah, CO2 plus PO1 is less, I think. Sure is.
And then you can take the quiz.
Okay. What is this? Search?
Oh, just hit that. It's just a close up of the burns.
Yeah.
So they can get a better sense of what they look like.
I don't know. 9?
It's either 9 or 4.5. I don't remember.
No,
Oh, 4.5. Okay.
Okay, it's just the quiz now, right?
Yep.
One patient being trauma or criteria. It's gone?
It's time. So basically, once the patient becomes unstable,
Yeah.
you run out of time to do the quiz. So part of this is for the actual students. It would be like, you got to move. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so it kind of gives us an opportunity to run them through it.
Yeah.
But obviously nothing actually happens to them. So yeah. And there's lots of other ones. We're just demoing a couple, but there's many other
Simulations?
Yep.
There are?
Yeah, there's a library.
Show, like, how to view them all.
So there's like a library.
Is it possible?
I don't have access to them. There's a library of them. I'm not the tech guy for this room, but there's a library of them that I know we can go into and download others. I can see if I can find, actually, there's a couple of others that are set up. Let me see. Is Deep Sea here? Yes. I'm just going to sync it because some of them were unhappy if I didn't sync it.
How do you assess these simulations? Can I?
Like in terms of a faculty member assessing a student, or?
Like student assessing these simulations. As a student currently enrolled in this.
We aren't, there's nothing yet that a student is assessed on here. This is quite new. So we're just kind of getting to the point where some of the students, I know.
Like, can I see these simulations on my device or no?
I have no idea. I don't think so, because I think that they're connected to specifically the immersion room software. I don't know for sure, but I think so. Sandy, who brought in here, he would know better than me. I've only ever seen anyone access the library through this tool. Hit the button. This one's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so this one actually incorporates the floor too.
Welcome. You are now standing beneath the surface of an ocean. But don't worry, it's safe to breathe here in the immersive space. Touch the hotspots to learn more about life under the sea. Sharks. Sharks are the largest fish in the sea and have been around for over 300 million years. They come in a lot of different sizes, from the tiny pygmy and dwarf sharks
Okay, it's like information only, right?
Turtles come in many sizes, but are usually quite similar in shape.
Information
They have
like
shells
this.
on their backs that protect them from predators and
Like
their
what they're
environments,
testing, you mean?
which they can duck their heads back
quiz
into
and
protection.
information only,
The
right?
shell of a turtle is actually
You
part
could
of their
have other
skeleton,
interactions,
and it is
so
grown
you
from their
could set
ribs.
it up such that
Turtles
like
lay
you
their
have one or
eggs
two
on land and
choices,
breathe air,
and then
but
depending on
live
the
in
choice you
water.
make, that impacts what you see next. The limitation right now is that, so like you saw when we had one page of the student gallery photos and then we went to the second one, there's a lag. It's not yet at the point where you can jump quickly from page to page.
Yeah, it takes some time.
It takes some time. So I think once we get to the point where those transitions are quicker, then you could have a situation where there's more of like a choice you make determines the next step in the journey, versus right now, we're only at the point where the whole journey is kind of one.
I think a stronger like GPU will help maybe. Or
I
maybe
suspect so.
Programming will also help, like, yeah, right?
It's also still kind of beta software, which is actually, I think, the bigger, I think it's more of a software issue, but yes, for sure. I don't even know what the GPU is in that.
It's pretty good.
Pretty intense, I would think, yeah.
I think it's like the high HQ. I can't remember if it's 97 or 99, but it's very good.
I think it's probably more that the software doesn't, like in terms of the ability to jump between scenes. Hi, come on in. I'm going to reset this just because the beginning of it's kind of fun. Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for the information.
You're welcome. Take care. So, hit the button. Just with your whole hand, not one finger, but yeah, just touch the blue button. Touch it. Yeah. What? With your whole hand.
Oh, whole hand. Whoa.
Welcome. You are now standing beneath the surface of an ocean. But don't worry, it's safe to breathe here in the immersive space. Touch the hotspots to learn more about life under the sea.
So just touch one of them? And then so hit the looking glass.
Turtles. Turtles come in many sizes, but are usually quite similar in shape. They have shells on their backs that protect them from predators and their environments, which they can duck their heads back into for protection. The shell is actually part of their skeleton, and it is grown from their ribs. Turtles lay their eggs on land and breathe air, but live in the water.
So if you X out of there, hit the question mark. And now there's a quiz. So, like real course kind of situation. You have stuff where they're basically asking questions.
Do you remember?
I don't either. I don't know. Maybe? No. I didn't even watch the movie. That's cool.
Thank you. You're welcome.
It's giving me a Ripley's Aquarium.
It has a bit of that feeling to it, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's basically like an augmented reality room where they can simulate scenarios and stuff like that. So like for programs like paramedic fire nursing where you have like programs that you need to simulate, they do it here.
Wow.
So, what do you want to see?
Looks like a paramedic.
Okay, so just go up and touch the picture with your whole hand.
Your whole hand?
Yep.
Okay. I feel like something's gonna jump at me.
So, hit the button.
Well, you're inside there. See, I always wanted to be an ambulance driver.
Respond to 1313
I wasn't good with the blood, but
Working fire in progress.
Hit the button?
Fire advises one fire victim.
I have yet to.
You're on site.
drive an ambulance.
Yes.
You can see that the patient's stability is going down.
Yes.
Our patient's here.
Oh, okay.
So you can get a better look at his burns with the with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then you can exit out of it. And then you can see his vitals. The red button. And then you get 2 questions. So click the question button. And basically, for a paramedic student, the idea is that time is short.
Yes.
They have to quickly figure out what the most relevant questions are because you could ask a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. So they've got to pick.
Oh,
So what do you
that's
think?
neat.
Do you have any allergies?
Yeah, I would have, my first one would be, do you have any allergies? But that's the real paramedic. Oh gosh.
I got anxiety. I used to smoke, but now I just vape. Oh, God. I burned myself cooking French fries. You know, the oil, it just caught fire.
That's it. It only gives you 2. So now we exit out of there, and now if you hit the question mark.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to the scenario together.
Yeah. Use the surface area.
So generally each side of the arm is 4.5.
Actually?
Yeah. So
Good job. Yep. Okay. You want to join us later?
Oh, are we watching on TV
You're watching us?
It's on the TV screen.
Oh, really?
That's also in the hall.
No. Stop.
You lost that? You failed that?
No, it's a gray area.
It was
I'm
a
gonna
great
check the
area.
In 45 minutes.
Life saved.
It is.
Just put some polysporin on, it'll be fine.
Oh my god, no. Close trauma center.
All the above.
Wouldn't you just go to the closest hospital?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really okay.
Okay.
You didn't need to be a paramedic, did you?
And so when you get a question right, he gets a little closer this way, and if you get it wrong, and if it gets to unstable, it's over. So
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Okay, cover with wet dressing. Oh, remove any burn. No, cover.
Clean and wet
Cover.
dressing?
So what you're doing is which ones are incorrect and which are correct. So
Oh.
is this
Oh, we gotta slide
so is
it.
remove burn clothing incorrect?
Yeah.
Then leave it there if it is.
Isn't it correct?
So you would,
Yeah.
if you think it's that, or you would.
Oh.
Okay.
And once they're all in the right columns, then you hit check
Go
answer.
over. Oh no, not you.
No,
No.
He doesn't want to come over.
that's pretty determined. Oh, okay, that is.
Wrong answer.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. So do we think that's right?
Yep. Okay. I guess not.
Your patient.
He died.
Yeah, he died. He's died.
You should be paramedic.
Yeah, that just answered the question right there.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's neat though.
Yeah.
Paramedics,
But really for that burn, just put some
Yeah.
some polysporin on there.
Throw a little polish work on it.
Cool. Yeah, that was great. That was awesome. Thanks for doing that. That looked really good.
That's just the question. It's the most popular program.
People love it. Check out the immersion room.
Sure.
What is this?
Fun.
What do you want to see?
Forklift.
All right, so just go touch it with your whole hand. Now, I will say if you get motion sick, this may not be perfect, but I can shut it off if it's bugging you.
Oh, I got it.
So now, just take a second to pop up, you're grabbing a forklift. And in a second, you'll see the guy here walking up on your left.
Yeah.
So look in the rearview mirror on the right, and you'll see him cross behind you. So it's designed to basically give somebody a sense of, you know, what, because you'll see with all the stuff on the front of the forklift, you can't see that well what's going on. So it's kind of learning to like notice, you know, remembering that, oh right, there was a guy in front of me and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's a kind of basic simulation that just gives somebody a sense before they get on the machine of what that's like.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll pop you into this guy. And
Wow, that is.
it'll come back to the main area and you can pick something else. Oh yeah, and there's a snow in the logo, which is kind of fun. So what this is going to show you, this is just video, but what it'll show you is, as you walk around there, you'll see the guys with the HoloLenses on, the VR helmets. So what we did here is this is just a 3D model a student made of a simple house. So this is it on a desk. But what you're going to see in a second, we're in, you can't probably tell, but we're in the gym. We pulled it up to life size. And then somebody with a HoloLens is walking through this as a VR space. So So with the HoloLens, you can actually build a 3D environment and then walk around inside it. So here it goes through the door, and now it's inside the kitchen.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it gives us a whole, so the idea behind this and the HoloLens is you can have these kind of intermediate spaces where, do you want to see a paramedic simulation?
Sure.
With the live 3D model, that would be amazing for the construction industry.
Well, yeah, because you can see what something looks like ahead of time, and what I really like about it, like I can even see people, you know, if you're a designer or something like that, like, okay, the sink's there, and you know, the fridge is there, is this how you want it? And somebody can literally walk around in a home that you're designing for them or whatever. So the paramedic sim, as you'll see once it comes up, basically is like you're on a call.
BLS Unit 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advises one fire victim.
I wish there was that much space in a real ambulance.
And now you've got a patient who you can look at a close-up of their burns, you can look at their vitals, and you get to ask them 2 questions. And then after you ask the 2 questions, there's a quiz.
Okay.
And you'll see too that their stability is slowly going down. So part of the idea of the simulation is that you've got to ask the right questions quickly.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to ask? You can.
I'm trying to look for it.
Fire department guy, quick. They pulled me out, I don't know, it's been like 10 minutes. I mean, you get 10, and then, you know, when you move it or you touch it, I mean, God.
So then if you X out of the questions, you can hit the question mark. And there's a quiz. And the patient's stability responds to whether the questions are right or wrong.
Wow. Oh, it's already going down.
So you see it jump down?
Yeah. Yes. No, God damn it.
I'm not paramedic. Before you go?
Sure.
So the gallery, it's basically students from the photography program.
Yeah.
We set up, hey, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
So it'll take a second to render, but what you'll see once the gallery renders is there's 8 photos from 8 different photography students, and for each one, when you touch it, it flips over and you can see a picture and bio of the student who took the picture. And just while it's rendering, you'll see that we've got a fan, and those little boxes up there are for smells.
Oh.
So in a simulation, you could have fire or pine trees or whatever you want. You can add wind. So, and you can do it at the same time. You can touch a picture and.
Reminds me of No Pros.
Then we see if you did it, and if you touch it again, it flips back.
Hey, look at that.
And multiple people can do it at the same time. So, you know, somebody can be touching one here while you're touching one there. And then actually, Mary, if you hit the arrow, it'll take a second to render, but it'll be page 2 of the gallery, so 8 more students' work will pop up in a sec, and it's set up the same way. Did you see the ambulance simulation?
Hers pretty real.
Did you? Well, if you have a second, I'll show it to you after we see the gallery.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I love that. It's fun.
Yeah.
Even the smells and everything.
We didn't do any of that today.
Did you not do the culinary? The smells of culinary?
Yes.
I love to see the paramedic in action.
Yeah. So, and actually, we're talking to Richard. I think we're going to do like a proper gallery just for the students. And one of the things, which is not immediately obvious, is that these are just buttons. And the way that it works is there's like a GoPro on each projector. So it knows that these are the edges of the button. So it knows that when I do that, I've touched a button. Well, because it's a button, you can have many behaviors. So we could have that start music. We could have it change the lights. We could have it turn the fan on. You can have a whole bunch of things happening at once based on...
There's like a big programming aspect to it, right?
Yeah, basically, so you go in the back end and say, when this button is clicked, do this, do this, do this, but you can have a bunch of things happening. But I'll take you to the...
mobile gallery.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll take you to the ambulance simulation.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, we'll get that here.
No, thank you. No, thank you for demoing it for us. So check out the logo. So, hit the paramount just with your whole hand. Just touch the picture. Just take a second to load. And then you hit that to start.
This?
Yep. Full hand. Yep.
Theos Unit 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress.
Okay.
Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
So hit the green arrow and start the simulation. So what you're going to see is that you're now on scene. You'll see that the patient's stability is going down, so time is of the essence. Here's our patient. You can get a close-up of the injuries. You can see their vital signs. And you can ask them 2 questions. So there's a bunch of questions. So part of this is you have to quickly determine what are the right questions to ask. So go ahead and go touch whatever question you think you want to ask. Don't worry, this will not end up in your transcript.
What do you think you need to know the most, Tim? Well, pick 2. What do you think is important?
I'll give you a hint. You want to know what kind of burn it is.
Yes, you want to know. You want a history, right? Which one of these is the history of what's happening? Yeah, that's hold on. Don't be afraid. It's okay.
Yeah, you're not bringing it. Just use your whole hand, like touch
Hold
the
hand.
palm. There you go. And so he'll answer.
Burned myself cooking French fries. You know, the oil, and it just caught fire.
Okay, there you go. And then you can ask him one more.
I don't know.
I only take Xanax for my anxiety.
All right, so Mary, can you hit the X?
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
And now, if you go over there and hit the question mark, there's a quiz.
Just recalling. Well, look at his injuries.
So I will tell you that the paramedics are taught a kind of calculation, where so that you can quickly kind of figure it out. But I believe, just because I've watched a couple of the paramedics things. So what you'll notice is that the patient's stability got a little higher with a right answer. So now, whatever you think. And it is mixing up the questions, by the way. They're not the same every time. So there's a small handful, and we could add more. So now, patient got less stable.
Really? You're in charge of the hospital destination. The most appropriate choice. Where are you guys going? In your room, closest hospital.
I think he would be stable enough to
We're getting close to unstable.
Get there. I go closest hospital.
This one? Whatever you think.
So, see, a little more stable again. Now for this one, I'll just show you, you have to decide which column you want each of these in, and then you hit check answer. So what's correct and what's incorrect?
Put this one over here. Be quicker. This one here? Huh? I would, yeah. Oh, right. Now we're moved. Like, we're not the other one. I don't know if I would take off
And
your
then,
clothing or not.
It's not closing on.
So,
Oh, what was the answer?
and then the firefighters show up if you're not been successful.
Oh, I didn't say
The
whether you were
firefighter
right or
showed
not.
up.
I particularly enjoyed this because I did stick it to you a little bit.
Did you realize that the time it's taking, he was getting more? I don't think you realized that you were on a time crunch.
And so the idea, like it's fun, but the idea is there's literally a lab right next door, but you know that you're in a lab, right? So that's a great place to learn. When you get out into the real world, he's really burned. So what this is a nice intermediate place where we can kind of create some, a little more reality, a bit more stress, time pressure, what have you, so that you kind of get a bit of that feeling. And so, for instance, you've only got 2 questions to ask, he's getting worse, and it kind of creates a little bit of that reality, but the stakes are actually very low. And like literally, you know, sort of educational theory is the ideal learning space is where there's kind of high stress but low stakes.
Yeah.
Right? That because you got to go quickly, but if it's wrong, right?
Yeah.
He's fine. We literally hit the button and we reset the simulation.
And it's different simulations all the time. Like now you could do a different one.
So we could there's a library of them. So basically, you can select.
So if you go into it again, would the same one come up?
So yeah. So for instance, you would run all of the students probably in pairs through that one, but then you now the questions do get jumbled a bit, so they aren't being asked exactly the same questions, but the simulation's the same. But then you could theoretically have many different simulations you'd run them through. This is still relatively new. Like this is the first time we've demoed it at Open House, but this is a great kind of play space where we're starting to kind of incorporate these things. And for us, we're the Innovation Institute. Our job is kind of like try stuff, break things, figure out what works, because faculty don't have time to do this, but once we've sort of figured it out, we can then hand it off to an academic school who are then able to oh, okay, I know what it does, and they can just incorporate it. Yeah, so by the time you're here, probably you'll get run through some of these things.
Awesome. Very cool. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks. Good to see you. We are photography students.
Yeah.
We wanted to come see the virtual.
Touch the gallery button.
All right.
So touch with your hand with do
it, Zach. All right.
So it'll take a second to render. But once they come up, you'll see there's a set of photos, and click on a photo, it'll flip over. Those bios and photos that you guys did will show up. So there's 8 on the first one, and then you can page over for another one. So if you're not on the first page, you're on the second.
Do you mind if I take a little video of it?
No, we're live streaming this, so you can
awesome. Hey, that's mine.
Let's take a video here because we want to see how this. There's Jose. I'm going to share this to our.
Hey, look, that's me.
There you go. And actually, we're probably going to do like a longer version of this with you guys. And one of the things I would like to do is so when we do this is to put a QR code with like your Instagram or whatever so that people can just go straight to it from a QR code.
That would be awesome. So cool.
And then right behind you, just hit the button.
Oh, Christopher.
Whole hand. Oh, it works. Okay, sometimes it doesn't.
Hey.
So it'll take a second to render. The other thing that I want to experiment with, we've got wind, we've got sound, so we could even have something where maybe you could choose like a piece of music that plays or what have you. Or there's even scents. We haven't worked that out yet, but it's so for like the paramedic thing, we can have the smell of. That makes sense.
Anna. And there's Zach.
Yep. Oh, okay. So
cool.
Yeah.
Total.
So cool.
And there are different interactions. You could theoretically set the gallery up so that like it's all of your pictures, and then when you click your picture, there's like a series of photos. So this is the flip interaction. There's another interaction where it'll call up like sort of a little menu beside that you can scroll through your stuff. So we can do it that way too.
Very cool.
Yeah, so actually I'm looking forward to experimenting a little bit with your stuff because there's a bunch of different ways we can do it. And these, just so you know, they're buttons.
Yeah.
So this can have multiple interactions potentially. So I was thinking that we may even try and experiment with, like what else do we want to do? Because we're at the experiment phase. Like this is literally the first time we've done this. So we were like, what do we do? So I think it would be kind of neat to get ideas from you guys if you've got thoughts about even like things that are, additional kind of parts of the experience. We can see what we can do, Yeah. No, but this was awesome. I was really glad you guys submitted this stuff because it's, a really great space, and the thing I like about this too is that people are less worried about touching stuff, where like with paramedic simulation.
It's overwhelming with like all the quizzes and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, I noticed the people in there earlier.
Yeah, it's a little bit where it's like, touch a picture, you can see who took it, right?
Yeah.
And then we've got a navigation here so that we can go see other stuff. Because again, they're all just buttons, right? So we can really do anything. And
Lambton College.
oh yeah, so this is also kind of fun. It snows inside the logo.
Neat.
And so we can take people to 360s of the various spaces.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys came to see it because I was thinking, as I said, I think we're going to try and do a gallery with your stuff at some point. Yeah.
He's doing it.
How do we get back to the photo once again?
Oh, no problem.
I want to show my husband.
Oh, sorry. Actually, do that.
Mark Russell.
Yes, he's a mathy kind of guy.
I know. He's
You
a
know
part
Mark?
of this. Yeah, went to high school with him.
Oh, okay, yeah, so
Definitely not the mayor.
So-
Sorry, though.
All right,
Slap it.
push the button.
Tappa tappa.
It's very bright. Standing in the light.
Just takes a second to render, and then that's why we have the snow and the logo to entertain everybody while the photos are
Like cats. Watch the snow.
I did.
How cool is that? And then you push it, and look, there's your wife.
That's great.
Crazy.
You do that.
I know.
Pretty good.
I do what? That I'm crazy?
Nice. I've seen that picture somewhere else before.
In the dean's office. I won an award for it last year. That's why it's here.
It's my job. Have you ever reasons to bring it up?
I think it's in the bio, isn't it?
It is. I believe so. It's just so cool. This is so fun.
Yeah.
Carissa. I wonder what photo she used. And Iris. Get all the bios up. There she is.
Oh, so
look
dramatic.
Pablo, what are you? Oh,
Gabriel.
Oh, it's not my photo.
He's so dramatic.
This in mine.
Oh,
He didn't use one of my.
Mr. Tulare.
Damn. I sent him a photo. This
We
exact
actually
one.
did 4 pages,
Oh, you
so everybody's in twice.
Okay.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow looks like a
I know.
a real estate agent.
That's what I said.
He looks like a real estate agent.
You know what?
That's what I said.
I agree.
Oh my
When
God.
they were taking those photos.
Yeah.
That's a self-portrait. I took that one in first year for,
Yeah.
that was for Nikki's assignment.
Oh, I see. Okay. My self-portrait, I think I did it really quick. Like I didn't put any effort into it.
That was in my backyard.
Oh yeah.
This is awesome though.
This is sick.
This is such a cool thing to be able to have. Yeah. And the pickle. Janie and her
And then,
pickle.
and there's 2 more pages if you want to see them.
Oh yes.
Pickle.
I hit it, but not actually hit it.
hopefully
I
we
just
can
like
confuse
put my
it.
hand over top and
And
then
the selection in some cases was purely that we needed like 3 portrait and 2 landscapes. So in some cases I didn't always pick people's best photos, but it was just like
oh, there's Iris.
sizes were part of it.
My donuts!
Oh
And also
my
I wanted
God.
a range, so I picked a couple that were more product shot kind of things, just because you got people coming in. And,
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
Well,
that
and these are
portrait.
things like, I know, I'm pretty sure I sent a nature photo in, but what it is that this is something that I learned in the program.
yes.
Like the nature photography is something I could have done prior to the program.
And when I was picking, I was trying to choose some stuff that looked like I didn't know, but I'm like, that looks to me like probably it was an assignment or connected to that.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Yep, that's exactly what
I don't
it
know what
is.
other photo I got. Oh my
And,
God.
How many photos did you guys submit?
I think I sent 5 or 6.
Okay.
Just because Richard was like, send your stuff. And we're like, okay. Where are you at?
Oh, my stairs.
Oh, I love your stairs, though. This is such a great shot.
Yeah, in
Was
fact,
that at the AGO?
I quite like those two. The
Tap it too
that
hard.
one.
Pain me
Well,
to try and print because I've been trying to print them and get them
Oh, really?
just right, and it's because the highlights
Oh,
are too bright. Oh, I'm so.
This photo
There's a lot of dynamic range in it.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to actually get it to print out how I want it to.
Pop off.
She's a ballerina.
Yeah, I know.
That'll be Mr.
And
was that a single photo?
Jesu.
Yeah.
And this is Nicole.
But-
That's her daughter.
Just
Like,
also
and then I try to bring
looks
the.
like a
I'm not
estate
touching it.
agent.
And then I try and bring down the highlights, and then it goes like.
Oh, whose is this?
Becomes almost like a cream color, and that's not what I want.
Yeah.
Jane, of course.
Janie. And then whose is the eyeballs of the goat? Ah, Sherry.
That's at the animal farm, I think.
Very cool.
Wait, what other one did you include?
Her
Oh!
church.
Shirt.
Gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
Wait, I didn't see. Did we see Jessica? Have we seen 2 of his photos now?
Yeah.
You'll have seen, yeah, you'll have seen, because everybody's on page 1 or 2.
He had another one of Anna.
And everybody's on page 3 or 4.
There you go.
Like kind of the one that looked like the
Gotta send
Renaissance
this to the boss so
painting
she
with
can
Anna.
post it to our Instagram page.
Cool. Yep.
On the Lens on Lambton page. Because this is, like for us, this is super cool to see.
Yeah. I think it's great. And I like it so lends itself to the interactive piece, because as I say, like, you know, people aren't afraid to sort of, it's a simple interaction and stuff. So I'm curious to see next, because given that we've got a bunch of things going on, I wanted to keep this one simple, but the next thing is to like give everybody a scroll through multiple images. To see, so I think there'll be some good experiments there, because one of the things we ran into initially is that like click your bio and it's overlapping the next person's photo and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of consideration spatially to figure out how best to do that, but
right.
It'll be good because this is totally the learning phase. And actually, totally up to you, but you shot some video, right? If you can email those, the live stream's going out to Lambton Innovates. One of the things that we're doing more now is we want to have the stuff that gets put up normally is the end product, right? Which is great.
Yeah,
But
we don't usually put the whole
do this stuff, so by the time it gets handed off to your program coordinator, it works.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Capture the like kind of plays phase of like, so anything like that you've got. The other thing I'd say too, because photographers, anytime you see anybody on campus just like trying stuff out of any kind, it doesn't matter. Please send it to us, because we're looking to really begin to tell this story of like, it's not just the finished product, but like education is about trying stuff and sometimes it doesn't work, and we really want to begin to tell that story. So if you find stuff like that, please let us know, because we're looking to have more of that kind of story.
We do a lot of behind the scenes photos.
Perfect.
When we are working in the studio.
We always take pictures of our sets and stuff before we shoot them.
So then there's a good example. What I would love to do, or to experiment with here, is can we have like a gallery where we walk through a process where maybe somebody's, you know, once they're hitting the button, we can even have a slideshow of stuff or what have you. You could curate something that's a bit more sort of through time.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but that's just an example. Like if you've got those things, because that's the piece nobody ever sees.
Yes, see, and we do like, so this was an assignment I did, so I was shooting eggs different ways. So here's the setup that I used, there's the final product.
Yeah, see that? That's cool. Like that's so awesome.
We do a lot of that.
Yeah, we do a lot of that, and then like the one term with like the sandwich, where we do like a walkthrough of like.
You have to do.
Yeah, we did a photo series about how like the progression of something. So there's a lot of that.
That's great.
So.
Yeah, well, I would say like if there's anything, and obviously it's up to you, but like that kind of you know, curating it in a way where somebody has that aha moment of like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Right? There's all of this other stuff. And what I love about like that photo, for instance, is that you've got this beautiful looking finished product, but all of the stuff outside of the frame is kind of mechanical and whatever. And, you know.
So it's raw.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a story I would that's exactly the kind of story we want to tell from the Innovation Institute perspective. Like marketing's job is to tell the finished story, but we want to say to people like, no, this is what you do, right? The end result's nice, but here's what you do.
We do our Lens on Lambton Instagram page. Our lab tech, she posts videos on there all the time. So like, I took a video last night and it was just students working in the lab.
Oh, that's
and I just did like a couple of sweeps across the room, and then I sent it to her, and then she posted in our stories.
And then we do like whenever we have demos in class too.
We do a lot of videos for our demos when we learn new lighting and things like that. So
very cool. Yeah, stuff like that would be awesome. So I think, I'm not actually exactly sure, but I know my director was talking to Richard about us maybe just having this open for a week as like a gallery show.
Please, our people would love to all come see this, and they're not all here today.
Yeah, so I think
even like the first years would love to join in and stuff too.
For sure.
Like everyone's super eager.
And even there, like to get to tell a story maybe about the program. So even if there's some way in which like there's something that's indicative of first year, something that's indicative of second year, or whatever, to be able to kind of have a sense of a progression. That would be really neat. Whatever that is, that would be really neat. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that project, because for this, we've got so many things going on that all of them had to be simple.
Yes.
When we're doing the stuff for just your program, I think we can kind of take a few more risks and
Absolutely.
see what happens.
Absolutely.
Often some time other than open house, we have the doors open just for open house,
Right.
but normally these doors would be closed.
Yes.
And the images, like the colors are a lot more
Oh, for
saturated.
sure, they
the
would
resolution
be.
looks a little sharper and whatnot.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Get more of the-
That's cool. I didn't know you guys were going to be here, so I'm glad you got to see it. 'Cause, yeah.
Well, we're set up over in the lab, which is in the residence building.
Oh,
Yes.
That's where this, that's why you pretty much never see us.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we don't generally come to the main building for any of our classes.
Okay. Good to know.
But this is a great reason to get people over here from our building too.
Yeah.
Because we have 50
gotta wrangle
students
your
right
mother
now
'cause you
between
gotta get
first and
lunch.
second year.
Really?
Our
Oh, okay.
program's growing like
Miss
crazy.
Aggie, you
That's
must get lunch.
We got, my people are hungry.
All right. Well, thanks for
thank
stopping
you
by,
so
and we'll
much.
definitely be in touch.
Absolutely, that would be great. We can do all those things.
That's great. Awesome. Take care.
Gallery is awesome.
Very cool.
I'm gonna probably just head out. See you guys later.
Oh, yeah.
This way here.
Yeah, okay, starter.
Go. Okay.
I got so it ran out of juice. So
Oh, okay.
Then I
Yeah,
switched
sure,
over
yeah,
and
yeah.
so I did a third of the other ones. So.
Well, we got 40 minutes left.
But it's definitely slowing down.
Yeah, the peaks usually like are noon and then it slows down. I am very surprised. I don't think all the tours are coming by here because there should be more people. It's been good, but it's I don't know, okay, whatever. But people are loving it, and the photography students were all over it.
They were here?
Yeah, yeah. So that group that were just in here, that's really, and they were photography students, and they were losing their minds over it. And the one young woman, she's the one who took the photo with like the checkerboard and the water droplets.
Oh, that was like
She shot some video just with them. So I said, like, hey, send us that stuff. And then I had a conversation with them about the gallery thing, and she showed me a couple photos on her phone. They do a lot of things. So I said, I would really love for you guys to maybe create something that kind of process, you know, and then do like, or even can be like the first person, like, kind of tell a story of the program. She was all like, they're really, really stoked to do this. Yeah, I don't know if that is But yeah, they're pretty pumped. Want to check out the immersion room?
Of course I do.
All right, let me just get us back to the first page.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Can I stand in the middle?
Yeah, of course. So, what do you want to see? Just whole hand.
Oh.
Yep. So this is just video, but what it's going to show you is we took a 3D model, like built in Revit, which you'll see in a second. So this is it on a desktop.
Oh.
Come in.
That's
Come in.
Is it for gaming and stuff?
No, it's just for.
We can do lots of stuff with it. So what you're seeing here. This is so cool. So this is a 3D model that was built in like, you know, a CAD program. And so initially you're seeing it on a desktop. We're in the gym right now. And then we scaled it up to full size. And now, did you see the guys with the headsets out there?
Yeah.
So that's my boss. He's walking around inside the 3D model with the headset. So basically, you can walk in now and you can see, oh, there's the kitchen and what have you, and it kind of gives you a sense of what the experience is like. So that's one of many things we can do with those headsets. So I'll just take us back to the main page here. So the immersion space does a bunch of things, but the main idea is that we can have a kind of intermediate space whereby a student, for instance, there's a do you want to say paramedic simulation?
Yeah.
All right, who wants to be a paramedic? All right. Hit the button. Just you have to touch it with your whole hand.
BLS Unit 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
So now it'll take you to the situation. So we've got a fire going on. We've got our patient. And you'll notice that the patient's stability is slowly going down. So part of the idea behind a space like this is that you've learned the information already, but now you've got to react under time pressure. So you can look at, touch that, it'll show you the burns, and you can X out of it. You can look at the vitals. And then if you hit the question button, you can ask 2 questions. So part of the simulation is, can you quickly figure out which are the most important ones? Now, you've not had paramedic training at this point, but basically it's like, okay, what do I need to know? And what's funny is he reacts in a kind of annoyed way if you ask a kind of pointless question. So for instance, I just know because I've watched a few people do it, events leading up to it.
I burned myself cooking French fries, you know, in the oil, and it just caught fire.
So now we know what kind of burn it is. So you can pick another question, whatever other question you want to ask.
Okay.
Come on in.
Go in.
I got anxiety. I used to smoke, but now I just vape. Oh, God.
So relax out of this. And now, since that's the question mark over there, there's a quiz. Now I can tell you the rule of 9s is something that paramedics learn for figuring out surface area. It's 4.5. And so when you got the question right, the patient moved a little bit further towards stable. So now, you can see what you think. And don't worry, this doesn't go on your permanent transcript. Okay, we're doing good so far, so he's even a little more stable. And so basically the idea behind the immersion space is it allows us to have a kind of intermediate between the lab and the real world, so that there's a little bit of time pressure. We can also have, if you look up there, those white boxes, you can actually have like smells, so we could have like smoke and whatever. We can turn the fan on to get wind, crank the sound up. And the idea is that the students take what they're learning in the lab and they come in here and then they've got to do it. The ideal learning environment is sort of high stress but low stakes. So you've really got to put what you know to use, but if you get it wrong, he doesn't die, right? We just reset him and everything is fine again. There we go. Okay, so then hit check answer. So we'll give you one more question, I think. There we go. You're doing well. Most people have actually failed by now because if his health gets down to unstable, then the simulation's over. So probably need to, yeah, there you go. Okay. See what happens. It'll take a second to register. There we go. 3 out of 5. So basically, normally what happens is that if you don't get the questions right, the firefighters show up and say, "We'll take it from here." So I'll just take us back to the main page. So that's an example of a simulation where, like, literally next door. It's funny, when we were setting up for open house, paramedic students were standing outside the lab next door, getting ready to do a kind of similar simulation. And then they wandered over and like, "Oh, what's this?" I'm like, "Come and check it out." And so we were walking them through it. and they got the rule of nines question wrong, and by then their faculty member had walked into the doorway wondering where his students were because I'd hijacked them. And so you can hear, we shot video, you can hear in the background the professor going, "You guys should know what the rule of nines is." So here, I'll show you a photography gallery. So these are photos taken by students in the photography program. It'll take a second to render, but once it does, we have a gallery of 8 photos, and you can come in, and for any photo that you want to find out who took it, just touch the photo, and it'll flip over to a picture and a bio of the student who did it. And anyone who wants to can come in. It's fine if more than one person touches it at a time. Here we go, and you'll notice we've got snow in the logo. Oh, that must have been me. Hang on.
No pressure there.
Go on. I think I just crashed. Let me do that again. Sorry. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I hit a button on the keyboard. There we go. So once the pictures pop up, come in and you can touch it and see who took what. It'll just take a second to show up. There we go.
I don't want to hold you guys up.
That is just weird. Yeah.
And the pictures are actually just buttons, so we can, this is sort of a first run at it, but you can have multiple things. You can have lights change color, you can have music come on, you can do whatever you want, basically.
What are the smells that come out of those things?
So I know that there's stuff, there's like smoke.
Figured with that fire one, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to do it.
You can do that. There's also there's like nonsense or whatever, so you can do kind of. But I don't know what the whole range of them are. We haven't done that one yet because this is fairly new, so we're kind of ramping our way up. And I figured for open house. So actually, and if you hit the arrow button there, it'll take you to the next page of the gallery.
Oh, there's more. Whoa. There we go.
Yeah, the fish one's fine.
Yeah.
Typically, if
Yeah, same thing.
useful to spray it.
Yeah.
The temperature sounds pretty heated.
Yeah.
From that fire, right?
And we actually had some photography students the first time they'd seen the gallery a little while ago. And we're going to do kind of a more immersive, probably, gallery with them.
This guy.
And then, do you want to see a forklift simulation?
Sure. Yeah.
We've only got a couple minutes though, guys, before we have to be back for
Yeah.
the match.
Whoa.
So it's to train people on what it's like.
I'm getting like motions.
Okay, see this guy on the left here? You'll notice him walk through.
Oh, yeah, he's coming over to this side now. There he is.
And so it's to help people, oh, I can't look in front of me, how do
The
I?
blind spots of a forklift.
And it's sort of an orientation to exactly the pieces. Yeah, so it's not ideal for people with motion skills.
Oh my god, this is like when I only focus on this, it's like really weird. Yeah.
Are you guys checking the wall on the left? Are you making sure you're not going to hit it? Like,
Yeah.
or like you've seen when somebody hits one of the things and it just dominoes.
Yeah, just like down the warehouse phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's really cool. Wouldn't it be like better if it was like a more like a circular room, so then the perspective would be more like. Because like when you look at the corners, you can kind of realize the corner.
Yeah, the mapping, this is, again, it's like this is still pretty new, this is a beta, so, yeah, eventually, hopefully, we get to the point where those corners map properly, but at this point, at least, it gives you that sense of motion.
That would be a minor change, right? It'd usually just be something that goes in front of the wall. That'd be different projectors and everything too, actually.
This is still very cool.
Come back up after, we gotta go play our
I'm
finals.
gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, thanks for coming in, take care. Hey, come on in.
You guys want to try experience? You guys go for it. Get in there. We're in line now.
So just take a second for the menu to show up. What do you want to see?
Well, me personally, I have a vested interest in the short throw camera projectors you guys.
Oh yeah?
We're looking to set up an AR sandbox at our school.
Oh yeah, cool.
Which I might reach out and ask for help from you guys. at some point in
Sure.
time.
Well, why don't we start with, so this is going to be photos that the photography students have taken. It takes a second to render, but once it comes up, you can touch any of the photos and it'll flip and show you a picture and bio of the photographer. And then you can cycle through pages too.
Is it strictly touch, or is there like hand gestures within a?
Strictly touch.
Gotcha. And how's it recognizing, like?
Whole hand, but yeah, just.
It's the whole hand, eh?
So that's part of it. But yeah, it's looking for something with a bit of space. But with the GoPros, basically these are buttons. And so what you've got here is just the borders of a button.
Yeah, I was trying to test the limitation of it,
Yep.
so to see. That's cool. And there's you're using an Xbox Connect sensor, or is that?
I'm not actually sure, to be honest with you. I'm not.
Like a version of.
It might well be. I think that thus far, if I remember correctly, the gesture stuff, this is a beta, so we don't have the gesture stuff working at this point, only the buttons do. But I know that, yeah, there was some conversation about that. This space is quite new, so we're still kind of figuring it out. And then we've also got navigation, so I'll take you to the paramedic simulation. And so this is a simulation that the students would do.
PLS Unit 123, respond to 1313
Taking it this way.
Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advised.
And so you've got the patient. Oh.
I feel like it. For some reason, I feel like I should be holding a gun. Is this like GTA? Everyone see that one reel where the guy's walking around like he's in GTA and was like trying to get into the car and like, it's like, oh, I'm supposed to talk to the guy and give him the keys. So, all right.
Oh, he's got burns.
Yeah.
So you can access that guy, and then you can see his vitals.
What's that? Yes.
That's not good.
And then the way the simulation works is that the students can ask exit of that guy. You get 2 questions. So the students, and you can see the patient's health is going down.
Right.
Right. So under time pressure, they've got to figure out the 2 most important questions to ask, and then they've got to take a quiz.
Okay.
So hit a question random, doesn't matter, just choose one.
I'll chew them.
So go react.
I burned myself cooking French fries, in the oil, and it just caught fire.
So he caught the fire.
And I can tell you from watching the paramedics do it, that is one of the questions you want to ask, because you want to know what kind of filth we're in. So, hit another question.
I only take Xanax for my anxiety.
So you can X out of that guy. And now, if you hit the question mark, this is the assessment portion that the student will go through.
What is it called?
So,
Technically, we
Rule
wouldn't be
9.
next to play anyways because we just played 2.
How do I know? I don't know.
I just don't know when they got started because we're all just kind of
He's dying. He's dying. Take a guess. He's dying.
can you see both hit?
Oh, good job.
I think Mr. Summers.
He's in your 9th grade.
So,
Alert
and
criteria?
No, he just died.
Okay, he's good. He's good.
Okay, good.
Stay alive.
you might have to get a question right.
With a burn.
The other thing, I don't know if you saw this, but they get 10 questions.
When you go to the trauma center?
Trauma center with burn unit or just trauma center?
Oh!
Alright. You just died.
That's fine. Based on the patient's conditions, vital sign was the most appropriate treatment. Cover with clean, any burn clothing.
Clean wet.
Go with clean wet. Like if you grab
Okay, the college nurse says clean wet. So you want to move that one to correct, and those 2 to incorrect.
Come on. No! He's dying!
He's dying! Go! Hit the arrow! There, now hit that one back.
Good.
Hold your hand on it for a second. Okay, yep.
They're all wrong. He's dead. They're all wrong. He's dead.
Sorry, we're at the scene of the crime. He died of a paper cut.
He died of a paper cut. We're here.
We couldn't answer the question properly.
And so the beauty of it is it's kind of an intermediate space where we can raise the stakes a little, create some stress, but we just reset him, he doesn't die.
Do you know what?
Do you have like
model?
nature immersion? Like you
Yeah, actually I'll show you a fun one. Hang on.
Put me somewhere warm in the ocean.
I am going to literally put you in the ocean. Hang on.
Oh, sweet. I'm going in the ocean.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Come on in.
Come on in.
Jason was just saying that there's even some capabilities that we haven't
What?
really explored yet.
Yeah, there's a connect. So hit that to start the experience.
Welcome. You are now standing beneath the surface of an ocean. But don't worry, it's safe to breathe here in the immersive space. Touch the hotspots to learn more about life under the sea.
We don't necessarily like the prompts and stuff. It would just be kind of a quiet space. We can bring in a couple of comfortable chairs or some along those lines. And then the fans up in the corner. Those boxes are the scent release thing. I'm actually not sure what scents we have loaded. Some of them are not pleasant, so I don't want to try it.
Yeah,
like
touch it.
Sometimes in the in the
There you go.
and whatnot, but like
Turtles. Turtles come in many sizes, but are usually quite similar in shape. They have shells on their backs that protect them from predators and their environments, which they conduct their heads back into for protection. The shell of a turtle is actually
relaxing space.
and is grown from their ribs. Turtles lay their eggs on land and
Yeah, they should kind of run away when you try to step on
That's hilarious.
It really is interactive.
Yeah. Oh, they get out of the way? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, I'm stepping
Oh, no,
on it.
now,
Sorry.
now they're going to try to fight back, Francis. Watch out.
for like movement tours. There's some awesome shots of like when the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. You can go up the elevator and the Eiffel Tower.
Been there, done that. Yeah, but that sounds really great.
Jellyfish. Jellyfish can be found all over the world and have been around since before the time of the dinosaurs. They come in a wide variety of
Simulations like
colors
this
such
come
as
from a
pink,
library
blue,
that
and purple,
make
but can
these, but
also
then
be
did you guys see the art
transparent.
gallery?
They can also be
Yeah,
magnetic,
for the
which
3D
means they
screw.
create
So
a
you can, for each of those are basically just buttons. You can create buttons with whatever you want and whatever interaction, so you can pull out videos or you can have the space react based on what the person does. It's very beta at this point, so we're very early on in kind of figuring out what it can do. And even, this is the second generation of the software, and it's far better than the first gen was, but this is a brick cell phone at $1 a minute. Basically, like that's where we're at right now. But over time, as both the sensors and the software get better,
That's when we can upgrade too.
yeah, and so we're really at the phase right now where there's a handful of stuff we can do, but over time it should get over. So, and I think as the e-creators folks learn how to use it, we can build more interesting.
Are you thinking more for within
Fish.
programs?
Fish have lived on our planet for a very long time.
So the photography gallery is within
500
program, but it's really an opportunity
and have
for them to
evolved
display
in a
their
huge
work.
number
So
of
it's
ways.
not
There are
part of the
about
program per se, but it's like an
28,000
add-on.
species of
The
fish.
paramedic students
Some
can
have
do that
fins
soon,
like
saw.
But there are also fish like the eel that are more worm-like and wriggly. Fish can be herbivores or carnivorous, and lots even have taste buds.
At this
all
point,
over
put it
their
this way,
bodies.
our job as the Innovation Institute is to just break stuff and figure out how it works. So there's no rules. So as far as I'm concerned, any idea anybody's got, let's try it out. And if after an hour we go, no, that didn't work, then whatever. Right now we know that. Or, you know, the thing I would say is just like expect an iterative process with lots of things not working. But eventually we get to the point where, yeah, like if it worked as a space where you're doing that, or even if like, I don't know, it worked as a desensitivity, like if somebody needs to, oh, sorry.
There you go.
That's mainly the thing about people come in and they're so overstimulated or hyped.
Yeah.
Just needing to, you don't need a therapist, you just need to
Sharks.
And in
Sharks
here,
are the
you
largest
can
fish
also,
in the
whether
sea
it's for
and
help
have
or
been around
not,
for
there's
over
wind and there's also
300
scents. So you can
They
even
come in a lot of
add,
different
like,
sizes,
you know,
from
small
the
pine
tiny
trees or something like
pygmy
that.
and
where
the
you
dwarf
can
sharks
have-
at no more than 11 inches.
So it would certainly be
whale
interesting
shark,
to
which
experiment
can
with
reach
it.
up
We
to
haven't
40
done that
feet
yet.
in
It's
length.
definitely one of those
Sharks
things where
have
we
a
want to
never-ending
walk around
supply of
with
teeth
first and
that
see how it
constantly
works.
regrow
But
in
yeah,
many
because
rows
I
in their
would be
jaws.
curious to see, like,
The
at the end of
largest
that
tooth
hour,
ever
does the
found
student
belonged
go,
to
oh
the
yeah, I'm in a
megalodon,
different
a
space? Because
gigantic
if so, then
ancient
that's
shark
one
that
more.
lived over
As far as I'm
3.5
concerned, what this
million
thing
years
really
ago.
is, I call it a context generator, that you can basically create an environment. Whether it's for the paramedics having like that time pressure piece, or maybe it's a relaxation kind of thing, or it's whatever else it is that we haven't even figured out yet.
Educational periodization, yeah.
That's it, right? That like my attitude is sort of we keep trying stuff, and some great ideas won't work, and some stuff that we just kind of tried turns out to be the best idea we ever had. Like, so yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And one of the things we can do, it won't map quite as nicely, but
There are around
we
300
can record
species
stuff. So the
of
HoloLens
octopus
you
in
can
the world,
record,
and
right?
can be
So the
found
other
in
thing
warmer
too,
salty waters
whether
like
this
the
makes
ocean.
sense or not, if there was a
Octopuses
situation
are
where it made sense to
considered very
even like
intelligent,
record
and
as something or a
predators
conversation or an
practically
interaction or
like
whatever, we
camouflage.
can do that
But if
POV.
that's not enough, they can fire
You
a
could,
like
and then
substance at
like
their
that
attackers.
might even
They
work
have
here.
8
So there are
legs
lots of
that
things like
attach
that
directly to its head, a hard black mouth, and 3 hearts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame you already have your thesis, because then you can't do this. Yeah. Well, thanks, John. That's awesome.
What kind of sensors are you using?
So the little GoPros, basically, the software maps these buttons so that it's just the GoPro.
You just analysis like the picture analysis?
Yep.
You see the crowd.
Yep, that's it. So it basically, all it really does is map a boundary. So there's 2 different things. That knows that I touched the button, and then the software knows what the button is supposed to do. So which is why, like,
So I think I saw some glitches with precision.
Oh yeah. This is a beta. This is very
Gives you the information and then the other one.
Oh yeah.
As we were watching the crowd.
Dwarf sharks at no more than 11 inches to the whale shark, which can reach up to 40 feet in length. Sharks have a never-ending supply of teeth that are constantly regrown in many rows in their jaws.
Did you step on the crabs?
The largest teeth ever found belong to the megalodon, a gigantic ancient shark that lived over 3.5 million years ago.
Yeah, this we like to show some. It's even better with George. The colors seem brighter and stuff. It's a little faded just because it's so bright. Yeah, so the idea is you would just watch the video and then sit and do like the knowledge check.
Without too complicated analysis.
I have pictures. Yeah, I don't know, stick a guess, I guess.
I'm trying to pick a random one.
Awesome, nailed it.
That's cool. You know what? I'm gonna.
Noodle is always right.
Who's the director?
Always be.
Lindsay, come here for a sec. You have to come try this.
Yeah,
So if you step near a crab,
you do that. This is like a third party thing that we purchased from somebody else. We didn't put it together.
Okay, I was looking at maybe you do that.
this reminds me of
But I don't know whether he's thinking long term, whether we want to experiment with our own stuff, because this.
Oh, it might be because that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, now they're active.
And then our first job is just to kind of like figure out how to.
Sharks are the largest fish in the sea
But
and
if
have
it's
been around
possible
for
to
over
experiment,
300
we might well be interested to.
They come in a lot of different sizes, from the tiny pygmy and dwarf sharks at no more than 11 inches to the whale shark, which can reach up to 40 feet in length. Sharks have a never-ending supply of teeth that are constantly regrown in many rows in their jaws. The largest tooth ever found belonged to the megalodon, a gigantic ancient shark that lived over 3.5 million years ago.
okay, ready? Did you get it all? Yeah.
And white noise can cover
Wow, I got it right too. Oh my gosh, but you randomly guessed. Yeah, I just randomly guessed. I didn't even read it.
you say you were interested in the photography?
The research program, like even
You're interested in photography?
across the way. They do research of all kinds, and one of our roles
Oh,
is
because you can like see
commercialization,
that
so
you're talking
local
about that on
companies can partner with the
I'm sure I
research
pushed it down on the
department.
tree.
Right, there's a whole
Like,
library.
value in working with us around development, prototyping, or testing. Like that's one of the things that the research department does. Let me introduce you to Sandy. Sure, your name.
Yeah. Trying to remember which one it
Oh, there's a fourth one.
Want to look at the portrait one? So some of these are like 360 videos. So you can see like the training element here would be like getting used to being able to drive. Like you can see pretty well now, but then when he picks up these pallets, it's like you kind of get to experience not just what's right in front of him. I couldn't figure out how to load up the main scene.
Oh.
And I think I want to show them the photography.
Sure.
Where?
You always know when the snow starts running stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't respond.
Oh.
Okay.
Photography gallery. It just takes
So this takes
a couple seconds to load up.
She's actually so cool.
Add a little bit of snow to the logo.
Should have been raining today.
Right? Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
this is like an interactive gallery, so you can go around and same with the buttons, you can just press on the photo and it will give you like a bio, basically, a proof of the photo.
Okay.
And I think there's a couple triggers.
So I just click on it?
Yeah, just with your palm again. Yeah, there you go. And I believe if you keep pressing through, there might be more. Oh no, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so they all.
Is this a banana? It is.
It is, yeah, with like a blueberry, I think. And then there's another like hallway.
Maybe.
Maybe, if it decides to work. I think because they were like all super high resolution photos, it just takes a second to load. There. I like this one.
That's fun. It's cute. I like this one.
I think she was actually in here earlier. A bunch of the students that actually took these pictures came in, and it was cool. They were like taking a little video, like showing themselves with
Oh,
the
that's
picture behind.
awesome.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, so this is the Immersion Room 2.0 for Lambton College. These are photos that college students in the photography program took. So if you click on the photo, you can see their biography. go on the floor with some snow falling. Pretty cool.
Alright, so give me the rundown of this place.
Sure. So the immersion room right now, we just got the photography programs, kind of artworks set up. So we set them up so that you can just finish
Oh,
a
wow.
little short video. So those are like the bios, and then you can click and see their photo, or if it's on the photo, just press on it, and it will show the bio. I see her all the time at the beach. She's always taking pictures down there. Yeah. So and then. It's all interactive, so you can actually use the buttons over here to bounce in and out of different scenes.
Okay.
And then our developer actually has a little the logo over there. So John's been in here navigating the whole thing.
Yeah. So it can do like scenarios and stuff, like accidents and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I believe if I click on that. Yeah, so this is like an AMBO scenario. So you want to go ahead and try it? So just use your whole palm. It doesn't seem to work if you just use your finger. So you can just go right up and just press right on the button.
ELS Unit 123, respond to 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Working fire in progress. Fire advises one fire victim who is now located across from this location.
Your name's Shawnee?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Jason.
I remember you.
Yeah.
From
Awesome,
08.
yeah.
Nice. So what are you up to now?
I'm in recruitment now.
Great, okay,
yeah.
nice.
So it's been really good. I've been there since January.
Nice. So now we're over here.
Oh wow.
So we've got, we're basically just arriving on the scene. Something's going on. So we can go ahead and hit this. Okay, so that's showing, just zoom in a picture of like what's going on. So close that. And then I've seen this run through a couple times. So when we click this, it's going to give us a list of things that we can inquire about. But you can see over here that like time is of the essence. So we kind of started maybe like right here, and then the more time that goes by, he's going to get worse and worse.
Right.
The more successful actions that we take, the right course of action, then he'll get better. So not too many people have actually kept him alive today.
It's all trial and error, this poor guy.
Yeah. So basically, he's got burned. So you're trying to figure out what's the most relevant information that you would need. So I don't know. Just take a guess.
I'm only taking Xanax for my anxiety.
Just take the Xanax.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's like.
You can kind of get a sense of like.
I was cooking French fries.
It'll get your like anxiety.
Yeah.
But like it's super low stakes, right? Like there's no. You can just do this over and over again.
Lunch around 11:30.
Like, how do you keep this guy alive? I don't know what the right answer here is.
Right, so after we've asked our questions, I'll leave it really quick.
Feels like a burning sensation.
Okay.
Vitals. Check our vitals. So it's heart rate 110. Whatever that other stuff is, I'm not in. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
So then once we're done with that, over there is basically it's the knowledge check. So you can go ahead and press that.
Did it work?
Maybe. Oh, maybe it's still open. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So this
Rule of nine. What is the percentage of body surface area?
So
Jason?
I've seen it
Is it 15?
done. Yeah.
Oh,
I think
4.5?
I think it's
4.5.
Yay!
Nice.
Okay, so you can see that went up a little
Okay,
bit,
thank
and now it's going
God.
back down again.
Using the rule of nines, brain calculations that this patient meet trauma alert criteria. I don't know.
No idea. Nice. Sweet.
I feel like it's just like a burn.
Right. Yeah. Probably.
Hospital 20 minutes from the closest trauma center and 40 minutes. I feel like closest hospital. Am I wrong?
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome. We're doing pretty good. We've gotten further than most people have so far. So this one's a little different. You've got two columns, like correct and incorrect. And you just have to,
you just move
if
them
it's in the
over?
wrong column, yeah. And for some reason, it's playing along a little better now. So yeah. Based on patient condition, vital signs, what is the most appropriate treatment?
It would be dry clean dressings?
Dry clean dressings, and then so this is probably incorrect.
Because I feel like,
Keep warm, like he's probably pretty warm.
yeah, that's true. So
There we go. So yeah, if we think that's,
with a burn though, it's like, don't you want moist? I don't know, let's just do this. And I'm like, would you want moisture?
yeah, I'm not
Like
sure.
water, you know, I don't Oh, see, I was right. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and
The wet one should have been.
The wet
over.
one was the right one? Oh,
Yeah. Okay, now what are some other considerations? Okay, he's fine. Maybe this over here. Maybe that over there. Ow!
Ah! Yeah, there we go.
I think this one needs to be over.
Oh, did we kill him?
Shoot.
He died.
That's okay. That's
Well-
super cool though. So can this release like smoke and stuff?
Yeah, well, so I'm not sure about like actual smoke, but like the scent. Of
Okay, the
smoke.
smell.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. But you don't get the visual of it? No?
But you can get like a sense of wind, and then the smell. But
Wind,
yeah, there'd
smell.
probably be. It'd be really cool if you could, but I think they would have to have like some sort of special ventilation.
Yeah,
and
probably.
like
So we're not like setting off our phone
right,
alarm.
and like having people sign like some sort of like form saying like if you have asthma, maybe you shouldn't do this.
Yeah,
Right,
that's true. That would be like
but
a bit of a safety
it
concern.
would be very cool though. But I know, I'm pretty sure one of those scents is like a smell. Because like a couple of the simulations are like in a hospital
Yeah,
setting.
that'd be accurate.
Right, yeah, and it's one of the things that is hard to simulate even in like the high fidelity labs
Yeah.
next door. Like
Yeah.
they've got the real mannequin, but they don't really get the sense of the real environment.
Yeah.
So it's, I think a lot of kind of the health sciences between the high fidelity labs and this lab,
Yeah.
they can kind of get the whole package.
Yeah. That's super cool. I'm glad to see it up and like running today, and I knew that open house it was going to be running, but I just take so many students through here, and when I'm opening the doors, it just looks like a dark gray room, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm explaining it to the best of my knowledge without having like seen it. So
Right, yeah.
that's super cool.
So, and there's like literally a huge, there's huge library of stuff. We just kind of pulled, there's one lobby. I think that's the one where it just gives us the options to go in. So we just pulled like a handful of stuff just that we thought would be interesting for folks here. But like there's like probably over 1,000 different like scenarios, and we are able to create our own. So the photography one, we made that ourselves, and then we have access to like the vendors like library, and they just switched it so that schools can opt in to share their stuff. So like pretty soon the library is just going to grow exponentially, like really fast.
So will this mainly be used for like fire, nursing, police?
It seems like that's the way it's going right now,
Yeah.
but I know we're talking with Richard Blonde about actually doing like an art gallery type thing where we just have it kind of running for a week, and just let folks kind of trickle in and out. And like with the doors shut, it looks so much cooler. Like you get more of the immersive
Exactly.
look.
It's definitely better when it's like all pitch black in here.
Yeah, the colors you just seem brighter, not so faded.
You feel like you're actually there.
Yeah, exactly. This one, actually, I think I might have made this tour. I did do a 3D tour of the kitchen and
that's
the
awesome.
center. So if I can make it work, should be able to click on the spots and it's like basically and then spin it around. And wherever there's a spot, you can basically jump to and kind of take a virtual tour of the kitchen. And we started playing around with like, having pop-up graphics and things. So, you know, we could put one like right here and say this is like a stand mixer or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I think we're on like 102.
I know.
Nice.
I gotta go pack some things up. But thanks for showing me.
Yeah,
Definitely helpful. Yeah, you too. Bye, Jason.
No, it ain't that serious. Oh. Yeah.
I don't know what I did. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, there's a coffee on the TV.
I think that's Siemens, because mine didn't have it's got a sleep on it.
Right.
I don't know. I have a feeling somebody thought they put their coffee
down in the background.